Where did I put that?
Skizzy with the big 20 says, happy birthday. I just found your channel recently. Why do your intros go so hard? Thank you. I hear a little on both sides. Some people complain and some people love them. You either love the intros or you hate them. If you hate them, fuck you. I love my shit. I work very hard to make them. Shove off.
Right. Get them. Get them.
Jess Gerald in with the, and I wanted to know why, Jess, 127.22. Why that number? Is that meaningful to something that I'm not thinking about? In with that amount for the Mater family. Thank you. And I will be using that amount tomorrow to take my children out for a birthday dinner tomorrow, and it'll be enjoyable.
Awesome.
Frito.
Thank you, Jess Gerald. Thank you.
Says, happy birthday still, Sarah. Thank you. We have been pre-grifting my birthday this whole week. Plumpy in with the big 5 says, happy birthday. Thank you, Plumpy. And Naomi with a big 10 says, Dono train for the Queen's birthday. That's right. I am the Tomato Queen. And there was only one question in there for you guys, which means I'm more important than Doge. How do you feel about that?
True. Pretty accurate. Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. All right, I've got a full panel backstage waiting to come on, so I'm not
there
going
you go,
to
Sarah.
I
think you have it now. This is funny.
I'll do open panel and then we'll bring that up. We'll start off with that. All right, here we go.
Hey, look.
That is so cool.
I have to say, Pentuple's back there jamming out to that one as well. It's
we
hilarious.
love it. We love it.
Good. I like it. I'm glad there's an audience out there that does. All right. So, rules for engagement on open panel dumpster fire. If you hear my voice, which you won't hear it often, but if you do hear it, what does that mean for you? Anybody answer?
To talk over you really loud and be obnoxious and try our best to get heard over you, right?
What he said. That guy.
I will happily accept the answer of shut the fuck up as well. That works too.
I have a public service announcement for that.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah. I'll give you that too. Give me a second. I'll give you that.
I hate to do this.
That. They all think it's you, by the way. Everybody thinks that I got you to do this.
Although I have an important birthday announcement real quick. Birthday song. For your birthday, my last song.
Aw. What's that, Pentuple?
I hate to do this to you because I do want to stay, but I think I do need to call it here. Unfortunately, I do. I have work. I have a 9 to 5, and it sucks. But
I do as well.
Thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you have
thanks for
being
here,
man.
Appreciate it.
I can't be y'all. It was awesome talking to you guys. Shout out to Grid. And again, just thanks for having me. And also, intros, so cool, awesome. Got to give you props for those.
Much. I appreciate that, Pentuple. And have a lovely evening. Thank you for coming on tonight. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Happy birthday.
Right, and thank you. And let's get Duck back up here. And then I'm going to go ahead and
say it right.
Adding this to the screen.
The resources necessary to.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Is this what you were?
Right.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Wait, is this like a?
Wait, just to
ask, the volume sucks though.
Like, are you saying this is like actually like a predominant like culture issue, like or is it because of like resources?
Well, what I'm saying is that when something like the VA is
volume's a little low, Sarah.
I'm trying to
specific people so that veterans can get care
Grid, you're beating your microphone and your keyboard.
Yeah, I think Grid, you might need to because I turned it all the way up on my end, and I think it's on your end that you would have to turn up.
Oh, let me see if I can turn it up on my end more.
Happy birthday.
It's always like stupidly low sound. I've never been able to turn it up at all. I don't know why. Maybe I need to go back there. Anyway, I apologize. It's a good clip because the communist girl talks about how that she didn't file an SA claim against this doctor because they needed the doctor more than her, and she quit. And then she starts talking about paying for sex orgies for VA people and all of that. It's an insane like spiel that she puts out. I just sent you something in Discord. Everybody thinks that this is you, and I got you to do this. So this is a public service announcement from the Raging Tomato. So.
Let's hear it.
Wait, so is that a self-declared communist, or are you calling her a communist?
She's actually a communist.
Okay, so it's
becoming more and more popular.
And what I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is I actually have more good news. Not only did we hit 8K for my birthday as requested, but the gauntlet is officially monetized as well. Nice. So what I'm going to do, the gauntlet is officially opened up. I'm going to drop the link here in the chat momentarily. And if you would all like to kindly make your way over to the gauntlet, I can officially shut down the Raging Tomato side, and we can completely maneuver over to the gauntlet, which is my part of my bigger plan for going forward between cutting the debates off and doing open panel dumpster fire. So I'm going to get that set up in the chat. And in the meantime, whoever wanted to start with some thought processes here, go ahead.
You should play the tip I sent you for the public service announcement.
Oh, you want me to play
I would just like
it?
to say really quickly that I'm the only one that brought cake.
Thank you, Effigy. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, you sent it to me on Discord.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Cheating. You don't have to bake tomatoes.
Let's see.
I'm excited to do my first official help Sarah grift on the gauntlet.
Thank you. Let me turn my volume up. Let's see if it comes through.
I'm excited to do my first official.
Everyone does it. Now you can do it too. Shut the fuck up. Shut your mouth. Shut up. Shut the hole in your face. Like that. You can do it. Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
By the way,
we can all hear that.
Yeah. I was playing it in the mic.
Yeah.
Can I go through something to say?
You should play that because it's awesome.
Ready?
Go ahead, Mel.
Okay, I wasn't sure if we were doing that yet. So I'm actually going off of what Grid kind of pointed out, that most people do actually agree with some sort of way of making the government more efficient. We're okay with that, with the stipulation that it's not a part of a soft coup, right? It's not seeing Trump try to merge the private state with the public, and also trying to get rid of the regulations that makes America a mixed economy, so that way he can have laissez-faire exploitation of the markets.
Probably moving off of Doge a little bit there, but
Are we?
Well, Doge is
part of waste, fraud, and abuse to install AI systems that monitor employees? Is that waste, fraud, and abuse?
What do you mean by waste, fraud, and abuse? Trump supporters say waste, fraud, and abuse every 5 fucking seconds, and it doesn't fucking mean anything to you people because you guys don't know math.
Amen.
How hard is that? How difficult 2 is + 2
= 5, though, right? True.
Huh? 2 + 2 is it's at least the identity of 2 + 2.
We're gonna get.
Are we using base 10 for starters? We gotta stipulate that, because if we're not using base 10, 2 + 2 = something else.
Whatever number file uses.
There's that liberal logic. Well, I mean, it's also worth pointing
liberal
out.
Logic. What the fuck is liberal
that
logic?
Is math.
Where 2 + 2
is
is
like
math.
stupid train. You guys see the stupid train you guys start? This is incredible. This is amazing.
And just for the record, so you know, I have Joe Cool hanging out backstage. If you want Joe up on stage, you know what to do. The only 2 or 3 people that cannot be booted from open panel dumpster fire this evening would be Grid 1, Classy Neurotic, and Rinyald. Everyone else is fair game. So hang tight, Joe Cool.
Yeah, I think it's worth pointing out that a lot of the times, like I was granting it for the conversation.
Sorry, there's probably lag. Oh, sorry, who's talking? I have lag.
That's me.
I know I can't talk over the original panelist, but like I just want to say real quick, you don't have to be a liberal to understand base 10 or base 2 numerics. You just have to be slightly better than an 8th grader at math.
Okay. The
point that I was making is that clearly you would have to divert what we're talking about to base 10 in order for you to say that. 2 plus 2 equals 4.
That is
you saying that like it's an absolution shows that you don't actually understand that there's other forms of math which can give you different outputs.
That's
I
not
just
at all.
love how relevant
You're bringing
this
up
is.
something that
I love the relevance.
Try to be right in a way when clearly.
Are we going
if you
back
go
to
up-
kindergarten to figure any of this out? Do we have to go back to kindergarten to figure this out, or can we have intellectual conversations here?
Well, is that? I mean, is the game? Are we
Clearly, that's not what I was
psychoanalyzing Trump
talking about.
supporters now? Is that what is that the game we're playing?
Are we shifting?
Yeah, no, I
Isn't that the game they're always playing?
Mel, you've got a time out. I'm bringing Joe up. Thank you, Jeremy Ryan. We love you.
Okay. But okay,
you should go.
Sorry. Yeah, so I was granting it for the conversation that like all of the things that Doge was cutting was fraud, waste, or abuse or whatever. I was granting that for the sake of the conversation because I didn't want to get too bogged down. But to be clear, a lot of the funding that they're cutting and the grants that they're canceling and the people that they're firing isn't actually like fraud, waste, or abuse outside of the classification that Musk determined it was, or Doge determined it was, or the president determined it was. Not like the prior ways that we would determine something as fraud, waste, or abuse, as in like it's not going to the place that Congress allotted it.
Yeah, they've redefined those terms to basically mean like the things we don't support.
Yes,
which is different because
Right.
our government has
Which
always
is also
been a mix
exactly how
of
it
two
was
different
told.
political stripes, and
Which
we've
is-
always accepted that other people do things that we don't like, and
Which,
that we
by the
don't have
way-
to exercise the government of everything the other group has done. But when we come
Very
to power,
good.
that's new.
That's
Very
the
good.
reason why, like that, I was kind of feigning it. The reason why that they're getting rid of the inspector generals is because they're nonpartisan, and Doge is partisan, and Doge is going to make partisan spending cuts. And the
Right,
elections
you're not
wouldn't-
partisan.
Congress actually
not.
vote on most of these things, or were they just stuck in pork barrel bills and passed through under the radar?
What
Funding?
Congress got to do with
that's a
any of
You
question.
understand what pork
That's
barrel
like an
means,
actual
though, right?
question.
You understand how the government works.
That's not
Like
rhetoric.
people come in and get
So
things.
we're going to back up and redefine the government in order to
Well,
try
no,
to.
no, I'm just
Well,
understanding basic politics, right? You
One at a
understand that for people to
time,
vote for
one
things,
at
they
a
have to be promised
time,
things, right?
One
No.
at a time, please. I can't
I'm just wondering
hear
about the
anything.
basics. You get that people have to be promised things to vote for things. Like this is how politics has worked since time immemorial, right? So whenever you say pork belly, it's really just comes down to people getting promised things so that they will vote for things, which is how it's always worked.
Sounds like politics.
So one person's pork belly is another person's needy project in their district, right? So like this idea that anything you don't like is pork is exactly what we're talking about.
I'm talking
What's
about the
next?
things that passed under like what do they call it whenever they just extend a previous?
Executive
No, not the
no,
executive
no,
orders.
no.
When they just extend the financing of something without actually looking at it. I can't remember. I'm about to go look it up.
You right
Talking
on
about
it,
like
too.
funding bills.
I mean, we can all agree that politicians are usually lazy. That's
Right.
I think we can all
That's
agree
where I
with
was going with it, really.
Is- Okay, so I have a question for Grid. And
Okay.
correct me if I'm wrong, because it's such an absurd statement that I feel like I
Sure.
might have misheard it. Did you say that you don't find it plausible that if we cut IRS funding, that they would potentially collect less in tax revenue? Like what?
Yeah, actually, that's not what I said. What I said is that you couldn't prove to me by cutting a large percentage of IRS that we would not actually see an increase in efficiency. You can't prove to me that we wouldn't do that.
I'm pretty
What do you
sure
mean by
verbatim.
prove?
Well, I'm pretty sure verbatim you said that cut because I brought up cutting the IRS workforce is going to reduce our ability to collect taxes, and you rejected that.
Yeah, because we don't have people going door to door to collect taxes. We haven't for like 20 fucking years. I mean, that doesn't happen.
Wait, part of a reason why that is though is because we have such a high voluntary compliance rate because people know that if they try to cheat on their taxes,
That's not an
they're
argument
gonna
against
get
Specific
caught.
ones that they
Literally
want
make
to
the argument for me.
Could I finish my argument?
Grid.
One
I
at
love
a
it when people make my
time,
argument for me.
please. One at a time.
We do
Go
know
ahead.
the throughput of the IRS, though, right?
Go ahead,
Like, we know
Nazan.
the
I want you to
issue is-
finish it.
Go on, fine.
Yeah, so if there are, IRS tax cuts, people believe that they are more likely to get away with cheating. That means more people cheat, so you reduce the voluntary compliance rate. And by the way, that causes a vicious cycle, because if there's more people cheating, that means everyone else now has a higher chance of getting away with their cheating, because the IRS is already strained trying to catch the current cheaters, and you don't capture a lot of revenue because of the like voluntary compliance. And like we do have empirical
hold on. Don't dish gallop away.
Okay.
Come on a little bit. Come on back.
Right.
Let's break that down a little bit, Non-Fon, because you're onto something, but I don't think it's going where you think it's going to go. First of all, absolutely, sure, people are going to cheat at their taxes. I don't believe that just because there are less physical employees at the IRS, that more people are going to feel emboldened to cheat on their taxes than did before. That's like saying by having less. By putting more cops on the street, more people are less likely to do crime, and that is factually inaccurate. We know, we have the studies to prove that. So that's really, come on, man, you're better than that.
But I have studies that show that voluntary compliance does drop when
guys, calm down. The second thing, because I got it, like you went to town there. The second thing is that even if they are going to cheat on their taxes, we don't have people manually inspecting these tax forms anyway. It's a computer that does it and spits it out and hands it off to somebody, which by the way, those people are so, like, I wouldn't say bored, but they have so little to do. They're literally prosecuting people for no reason. I myself have had dealings with the IRS where they cost me a shit ton of money to prove that I did do the thing that they said I did. And so you will never be able to convince me that the IRS is even a viable agency. It is literally the worst agency.
Grid, I got to ask you something.
Okay.
I got to ask you something. So if you have a subjective opinion about a government agency that's responsible for collecting however many hundreds of billion or trillions in dollars a year from multiple different types of individuals and tax entities, or corporate entities, and regulating all this. So is there a difference? I'll just ask it this way. Is there a difference between, say, someone like you and Senator Bernie Sanders or Barack Obama?
What?
Yeah.
What's the what? What was incoherent?
Well, first of all, subjective. Literally, most of my opinions about the IRS are going to be subjective, so I'm not really sure what you were.
Okay, that's cool. That's it. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Wait, I mean,
show. My bad.
Well, I mean,
didn't understand it either.
One thing I would want to,
if Grid's whole thing is like, oh, I can't prove that, if we cut the IRS spending, the government's not going to somehow imagine.
You're asking about his opinion.
I don't know what's your definition of prove. It's weird when he's saying like my entire opinion on the IRS is subjective based on my personal experience.
That's
but like
how
somehow,
opinions
which
work.
by the way, I do have studies that I can show you that
that's
show
how
that
opinions tend to work.
well, I mean,
I don't base my opinion on the IRS based on my experience with the IRS.
Okay,
I
great.
base my opinion on the IRS based on data, based on the
That's
studies. So I
awesome.
can show you that
I'm happy.
cutting
You
IRS
should.
does
I mean-
actually reduce voluntary
I mean,
compliance.
I am certainly fucking glad that Non-Fon is absolutely not basing his opinion on the IRS on subjectiveness.
Generally speaking, if you cut half the employees from a company, it does not do better. Generally speaking, that holds true. Yeah.
well, real quick. So
Yeah,
the thing I want to
private
point out is that there's a
Exactly,
memo
private
going.
sector.
There's a memo going around the IRS saying that there's going to be high-level cuts for taxpayer compliance employees. So I don't know, like, what else they would like. The employees are literally dedicated to taxpayer compliance. So if we're cutting those employees, then we're probably not going to have as much compliance with tax laws. That's just like necessarily A follows B.
No, it's not.
And then the second thing is
Talk
that
about
like
the penalty.
it's fine. It's fine if you want to base your opinions on a particular thing based off of your personal experience. That's chill. But I mean, don't use that experience to argue against somebody who's coming with like data or facts or like
Nobody's
like
giving
empirically
you
provable things
or facts. It is, however, a fact that corporations spend millions of dollars a year on efficiency experts to reduce their workforce and enhance efficiency. They don't hire more people. They reduce the number of people and make sure that the jobs assigned get done. And this is what our government needs. We don't need to throw manpower at it. We need efficiency. We need people to understand their fucking
Where is the
job.
government wasteful or inefficient?
Wait,
I have an honest question.
Wait, can I just finish up on the
like
IRS
that.
real quick? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, good.
So, can we both agree, hopefully we can, that if we're firing high levels of tax compliance employees within the IRS, that tax compliance is probably going to go down, or no?
No,
I can't. I mean, I can't prove that one way or the other, and I don't
You
think you
can
can
realize studies are not real life, and data is not
I mean,
reality.
you can throw
It just doesn't follow that less employees.
You're not going to my mind.
It just doesn't follow that less employees. It doesn't change the penalty of any of the things. So if you get your numbers
We have
wrong,
less than an ability to audit people.
Hold on.
I can
Just
only
a
follow one
big shout out to Gesterald, gifting 20 tomato memberships. He said that there wasn't enough green in the chat, and so he wanted to turn it green. Thank you, Jess, to you. And if you're still watching on the Raging Tomatoes side, you had best head over to the Gauntlet now, because I am shutting down the Raging Tomatoes side, and we will all continue watching over on the Gauntlet. So move your asses. There's still 150 of you watching over on Tomato side. Move your asses over, or else you're not going to be watching anytime soon. I'm going to drop the link in the chat one more time, and then I'm going to end that side of the stream. It will raid you over to the Gauntlet. So choose now or be forced. All right. And
we're just getting there, guys. Hop on over. It's going to be a good show. I promise.
So the one more question. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
So
Go
I mean, I feel like this is super applicable. Like, if we were to fire like 80% of the police officers, would you not expect crime rates to go up?
Do you know how crime rates are tabulated?
An efficiency
relevant?
expert is not going to change.
You
that.
literally asked me, would they go up? I'm asking you, do you know how they're tabulated?
That's not an answer.
I'll give you an answer. Yes, it would, but it's not the same thing.
Okay.
It's a bad analogy.
Do you understand how
you
they're
don't
tabulated?
you need an officer to make an arrest. You can
Right.
people. You can multiple
It
people.
doesn't mean crime
So if we
went
get
up.
rid of the tax compliance people from the IRS, then who's going to enforce tax compliance?
The ones that stay. The point is, there's too many already.
Okay, well then the cops that
you-
stay.
No, we got hold on, stop. Pause, as my buddy Fabian Liberty says. Pause, fucking idiot. Dude, the crime rate is tabulated by the number of crimes reported and nothing else. Not how many people are caught, not by actual crime, not by convictions, strictly the number of people who say a crime has been committed. That's the crime rate. That's why it's the worst.
I just asked a
with what he's saying,
hypothetical. All
because
right,
you
I just asked a
understand that.
hypothetical. I don't need
Yeah,
to.
you
We
understand-
don't need
you
to get
understand
into
what's
the
being asked.
hyper specific things. Yeah.
But your hypothetical is a flawed hypothetical.
Sure, fine, but even so, it still doesn't make the point, because you need an officer to make an arrest where that officer
Sure.
is doing the arrest. You can't make any other arrest, and that's
Well,
not
I
the
mean-
case with an IRS agent. I don't even know
Right.
exactly
20%
how it works, but I know that you can't. It's not just
Wouldn't
one
the-
person.
Wouldn't the
to
20% of
every
the
American.
officers? Wouldn't the 20% of the officers left behind also just enforce the law? Why would we need the 80% that we laid off?
No, because then they will, while the 20% are doing arresting, then all the other people who are doing crimes don't have anybody there. That is not
agree.
the same
Yeah,
with
that's
the
the whole
IRS.
point I was trying to
It's
outline.
not the
Yeah,
same
thank
thing.
you.
Is the point? That's the point. It's a bad analogy.
Okay. I think
A
that
police
was a
officer
bad
and an
analogy.
IRS
If people
officer
think
are
they're-
not the
if
same
people-
thing.
I think
It's a
that was a
different
perfect
job.
analogy, but all right.
hold on.
So
hold on.
maybe I can make the same point with the budget, right? Because we know that the IRS has the throughput of whenever we put in $1 for auditing or enforcement, we get like 5 to 7 times back. So maybe through that kind of budgetary means, we can show you that if you were to cut IRS people, which that's all the money for the IRS goes to, is just people, right? If you cut that, then it would get less, like just by its
FG.
own throughput of money.
It's so amazing that like suddenly the IRS comes up and you're magically thinking like a Democrat now. I don't know how that transfiguration like took place, but it's
Wait, what?
like
Did
bravo.
you think
Yeah,
I
he
was
is
a
a
Republican or
Democrat.
something?
He is a Democrat.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm an atheist liberal. What are you talking about?
Out of it.
My arm would fall off if I voted for a Republican. Okay.
Oops. That's my.
Oh, man.
I'm sure that's what
Oh
they
man!
did.
All right, well, hold on. I'll answer that. Some of the IRS. So sure, the reason, but it can be argued, and I think successfully, that the reason that you get such high throughput, if you will, from the IRS is because people don't fight the IRS as much as they should, because it costs thousands upon thousands of dollars, and people will just pay. I'm
agree.
that myself. As a matter of fact, I've spent every year. I left California in 2017. Every fucking year, I still get a bill from them for a property, and I've called the tax guy up and said, "Look, not only did I never own it, I rented it. Not only that, but it's a parking lot now. There's no fucking building there. It's a parking lot." And he's like, "Yeah, I know. I drive by there. I still have to send this out."
I gotta go. I gotta go. I appreciate you.
Hold on. Let him make his exit, please. Go ahead, Renault.
Yeah, I gotta go. I'm sick, so I gotta go to bed. I appreciate you letting me on. I appreciate you hosting. I appreciate Grid you coming on. I appreciate Classy you putting me in contact and being my partner. No, it's never hard feelings.
Awesome.
Yeah, non-Fonz the goat.
True.
And thank you, Rinyald. And any of my mods could drop his link in the chat. That would be very helpful as well. And Tiki
I'm not
Tack.
much longer for the world. So if anybody wants to try and pick on me, bring it now because I gotta go. To
I think
bed.
you're short, funny, looking, have a bad voice.
Hey, Sarah, I'm gonna leave this.
Shut up. Go ahead, Classy. You want to make your exit?
Yeah, so thank you again, everyone. Thank you, Grid, for being my interlocutor. It was really fun. Maybe I'll speak a little bit more next time I do these debates. But yeah, and thanks again, Sarah, the Raging Tomato. Happy birthday, and thank you again for taking the time to moderate for us. And everyone else, have a good night.
You as well.
Welcome. Thank you, Classy. And Tiki Tack sending in the big 50 just to tell me happy birthday. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate you. All right. Let's see where we are.
All right, Grid. USAID, since you don't have much time, okay?
Yeah. Let's go.
I'll do more reading on USAID someday. But what I think is great about USAID is that the best programs it does are like way more effective than like the average and median program. So like even if the top 1% of USAID programs are like really good, even if they do a bunch of other stuff you don't like, it seems like this really good thing they do could outweigh the other bad programs.
I couldn't find that when I did the research. When I looked into the research, they've been investigated multiple times by multiple agencies. In congressional hearing after congressional hearing, I can't find anything good. I mean, I see where things are
reported. Easy PEPFAR. It's like the easiest. Like PEPFAR has saved probably 20 million lives.
All the starving kids and shit.
Food aid, yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, that's something. Another. Sure, okay, but the amount of fraud, the amount of
you would agree saving 20 million lives is a really good thing, right? Like, that is a really good thing.
I'm sorry, what? I didn't hear you because I was talking.
You would agree saving 20 million lives is like just a really good thing, right?
Is it strictly because USAID?
It basically, yeah. That's one of their biggest programs.
No. Is it strictly because USAID? Is there no other program that now that USAID doesn't exist are now 20 million people going to die?
Potentially, yes, actually. I think the estimates it depends on how you estimate it. But I think from PEPFAR alone, yeah, I think it's actually 25 million could die in the next 15 years, I think is one estimate.
Why?
Like, yeah.
Why?
Because people don't have access to PEPFAR, which stops a lot of like babies from getting AIDS.
In where?
In developing countries where they don't have access to HIV medication. It's really expensive.
Where we don't know that the money's actually ever spent, right?
We do know that it's. What do you mean? We absolutely do know that it's spent.
Because USAID, literally, in all of these programs, they always get caught saying they spent 20 million, 15 million, 30 million, 100 million. They always get caught with unaccounted for funds. And I got to tell you, the organization USAID was just terrible, absolutely terrible. Right. And there is more evidence that it was a CIA slush fund account. There's more evidence for that than anything else, and you won't even talk about that.
I don't know how you live with yourself.
Wait, hold on. I can't talk about that.
Wait,
so
one second.
I don't know.
You're going too hard, buddy.
Go ahead, non-fun.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah. So
Blink. You're scaring me.
So I mean, it seems like I think people greatly exaggerate the extent to which USAID was like a CIA front, but there were some things that USAID did, especially during the Cold War, that were like bad or were like trying to subtly subvert like communists and like I understand if you're not an interventionist, which I know you aren't, you might not like that. But again,
No, I don't like
saving
anything
20
about
million
it.
lives. It's just like
anything about it. I'm
3 million from malaria alone. They expected to die.
Yeah, the State Department does
Yeah.
way more of what Grid's talking about than USAID, like the State Department itself, right?
And I have problems with all. I have problems with all of it. It's not like I limit myself to just USAID.
Okay, great. I wanted to point out earlier because you complained about the IRS and having to pay money for their services, whether or not you agree with their services.
I did not say that. I said I have a problem with when they file frivolous lawsuits against people for no damn good reason, and people have to defend themselves in court at their expense, which is never repaid. You have no recourse. Okay. So if you hold on,
he
stop.
mad
I'm sorry, I
about
got it
that
wrong.
shit, bro.
I'm sorry, I got it wrong.
You ask me a question, you get the full answer. So in this country, and you can do a bunch of research on this, it's out there, it's readily available. A lot, and I mean a lot of IRS cases where they are investigating tax fraud target people that they know will not fight them in court because they can't. They don't have the money to. And so they roll over and they pay, or they get their assets seized or whatever. And it is a horrible, horrible way to do business. And it's absolutely anti-American is what
I do need to finish my question though, and I'm sorry I got your point initially wrong. I was just trying to be brief. My point that it's more of a point than a question, but it is something I'm hoping you'll respond to. Sorry, is that what you're experiencing is the sacrifice of the microeconomic good for the macroeconomic good, right?
And that's bullshit. Come on, you're an idiot. Don't throw that out there.
Let her finish the thought.
Since you complained about us not knowing where funds go with USAID, we need to keep track of this money, right? And that's what the IRS is here to do. The macroeconomic good is that when we keep track of the money.
Canadian.
I don't understand. I'd like her to continue and finish, so I can understand.
The IRS does not do that.
The macroeconomic good, or the good for the system, is more important for the well-being of the nation than your personal well-being and microeconomic good. So I think that's why you sometimes see this as something that's just existing to persecute you, just like how it would also probably seem like to the people who are applying aid in Africa, like persecution, if they had to pay for tracking the USAID's expenses.
I'm not sure where in any of that rambling nonsense there was an actual point, but I'm going
to. No, I
restated. I had to stop and let you talk, so you're going to stop and let me talk. So
no, you're just being bad faith, though, because I restated that it wasn't really a question.
Well, it doesn't matter. You made a point, I'll make a point. None of the things that you said actually apply to what the IRS actually does. And macro is irrelevant when we're talking about literally. The question was the throughput, and the reason behind the throughput for the IRS largely is going after citizens, taxpayers, assets when they believe that there's some sort of issue with their taxes. And most people can't fight it. They're not going after people like Donald Trump. They're not going after people like Jeff Bezos.
You would prefer they do,
those people have very good attorneys, very, very good accountants.
But you would prefer they do.
Rich people are audited more often than poor people, by the way.
I'm interjecting because you have limited time.
Well, let him finish his thought.
No, go ahead and interject.
You would prefer that the IRS does go after the people, because I would agree there, just by the way.
I would actually prefer a flat tax where we don't have to worry about it.
I mean,
I think the IRS is an agency that has a license to steal from citizens.
Well, rich people would love that.
No one's arguing against that shit.
I mean, honestly, I don't know if rich people would love that. Yes, I am classified for whatever stupid reason as rich, and I would fucking love it.
It's probably how much assets and money you got.
I would like to.
Well, okay. Also, I mean, just from like, I don't know, a cursory Google glance, I can it seems like rich people are audited more often than poor people. It doesn't seem like the IRS is targeting
That wasn't
just targeting poor people. Seems like they go after rich people more
Sorry,
often.
are you? I'm sorry, I didn't get to see the whole debate. But are you guys under the impression that we should just leave all of that alone and there's no waste, fraud, or abuse?
No, I don't think anyone is arguing that. And
Okay.
what is all that, by the way? Is all that the IRS?
No,
Or is
oh yeah, no, just whatever Doge is the general what Doge is doing. Are you saying? I was asking. Are you saying that we don't need
they're
Doge
doing
at
it in
all?
a way that shows they
Non-fun,
don't
I'd push
care about
back
what
a
they're
little bit.
saying.
I would say, where is the fraud and abuse?
Has
Where's the fraud and
everybody has everybody just become retarded tonight? I mean, it's
I
just
did.
been one person talking over another, and I know you all know better. I mean, this is not any of your first time at this panel or on any other person's panel either. But it's just incredibly rude, and it's hurting my ears. Plumpy in with the big 5 says some birthday bucks. Woohoo! Party on. Thank you, Plumpy. And a dummy thick with the big 5 says, "Is this that thing that debated Andrew on WW2 stats? Stick that confused animal thing in the back. Who could take anything it says seriously after that?" I'm assuming that's you, Melanie. Throwing you in the back. I've got Harmon Walker up. All right. Whoa.
Hello, chat.
Hold on.
As
Let
far
me.
as me paying
your
last.
m-
Oh, I'm sorry. Sarah's still
Hold on. His mic is like blasting.
Is mine too loud?
It's the
Staticky.
background noise. You got like a fan
Oh, I got a fan on.
behind. Yeah, if you could hit
Let me
that
turn. I'll be
fan
right back.
off. Thank you. All right, go ahead, Greg.
How big is that room? He said, "I'll be right back to turn the fan off." How big is that fucking room?
Just thinking the same thing.
So, I mean, as far as me wanting to pay less taxes, let me roll this out here for you, right? So let's just say not, and I'm going to pick on you for a second, non-fine, because you still got a lot of life to live, right? So let's just say that you made enough money that the federal government taxed you $250,000 in a year. Would you be happy to write that check?
Not. I mean, I don't know how much money you have to make that in order to pay that much
Roughly
in taxes. But
750,000.
I would say, like, I wouldn't like. No one is like happy about paying taxes, but it's kind of separate from the question of whether it's a net good that we tax people.
So if you are good enough at whatever it is you do to make $750,000 a year, you're okay with giving away $250,000.
Well, it's not. So the issue is obviously we're not giving it away. The issue is the point is that the government has that money now and then can spend that money on things that I might really like. And if it's things that I really like, then I probably think it's a net good that it happens. And also, I would also obviously I would say the type of taxation matters too, because I don't think we should tax investment and saving. I think we should tax consumption and resource rents. So obviously the type of taxation matters as well.
That's a really feminine question, by the way, Grid.
And
No,
just to
sorry.
let you all know, I
Okay,
have
feminine
I have
It
Bane
was a
Bear
feminine
backstage. I have Chairman of the Board and the Powder Dusty. If you want either of those three up, you know what to do. I will bring them up in order of appearance. Bane Bear's first, Chairman of the Board second, Powder Dusty third. So if you get rid of people on the panel, then we can bring the next person up.
I had something. Is my mic better now, Sarah?
Yeah, oh yeah, way better.
I had something to comment from the debate earlier with Grid.
Yeah, man. What you got?
You made some good statements, and I think sometimes naive, but that's just my opinion. But some of the good statements were you can't fire government employees. I was 31 years working in government. We went through 6 audits, and when they come in there and change and fire the positions, all they do is change the name of the job from, like, we had one called yard captain, and they changed it to counselor. All they did is get rid of that position. It shows, okay, you got rid of all these positions with their salaries. Those people never missed a day of work, changed over, and they were yard captains next. And they did it 5 times while I was in for 31 years. So the same thing, this little fat doughboy Tesla guy, whatever his name is, I can't think of his name now.
Elon.
He ain't going in there and firing nobody. It's an all puppet show, in my opinion. And then the only thing I would say, naive a little bit, you got it right on saying IRS steals money from you. All it does is no. All taxes is theft of your money. Period. IRS just enforces it. That's all.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that taxation is theft at all. I mean, look, man, I've never really liked the idea of paying taxes to start with. When I started making actual money, and the amount of money that I pay personally in income tax can employ 3 people in a year, and you expect me to trust that the government is spending that money better than I can? That's insanity.
Is there anyone who believes that we need a bigger government or that we shouldn't shrink the existing government? Do we all agree on that?
No, we
It's
definitely
just-
got.
I mean, it's still it's weird because like my position is going to be we should like as a percentage of GDP, I would say we should probably be taxing more. I again just think the type of taxation matters. So I probably want to I think right now we tax like 18% of GDP. I probably want to move that up to 25% or something. But I want to do it in a way that doesn't tax investment and doesn't tax savings like we currently do.
Are you from America?
Grid One has spoken. He says effigy. Let's see, effigy, duck, and dragon can take a break. Bring up the 3 alternates, and then I also have Mo rebuttal.
Street in the house.
I also have Mo rebuttal just popped up backstage, so he's next in line, and then back to the original Melanie, effigy, and duck after that. So if you want Mo up here, please feel free to do what you need to do.
I'll say one more thing to Grid. Grid, you didn't talk about the job changes. They didn't fire anybody. That's why you can't find anybody rehired, because no one was fired and no one was hired. Do you agree with that analogy that went through? I've experienced that. That's just my experience.
Yeah, I mean, look, my parents worked for the government for a little while, and my grandmother and grandfather worked for the government like a large percentage of their life, and I saw it go from like not too bad as a child to being absolutely ridiculous. Like people just do ridiculously stupid things, and you just can't fire them. And that kind of culture has to go. Like it just
never will in government. It won't go in government. I
know it's not going to go in government.
Up and we'll
Try.
Joe, good seeing you, Satch, and Joe Cool is always good to see you.
Same.
There's no profit motive in government, so there's no natural force that makes the people involved in the process of government want to do things more efficiently, right? Because they're not going to go out of business if they sit on their hands for a year and don't do anything, right? There's no incentive. And Sarah, I wanted to tell you happy birthday because it's your birthday and you're awesome and you're, I'm not going to simp for you or whatever, but you don't suck at entertaining people. So
I thought you were an icon, bro. I thought you were a black and white photo. You're freaking me out right now.
That's funny. That's funny. What's up, Dusty?
Thank you,
In a
Chairman
minute.
Hanson.
Hey, Sarah.
Remark that
You're muted, Flo.
Almost shaved.
Look at him. Yes, this shit all trimmed. This shit.
And it wasn't me
that's
that
younger.
Do the balls match the beard?
Whoa.
You've been hanging around us too long, Sarah.
She has. Curtains match the drape there, Dusty.
Right.
You already know they
God.
do.
Holy hell.
Is your Wi-Fi sucking ball? You know what? Maybe it's your
How am I now?
much better.
That's way better.
Much better. Oh my God, that sucked balls.
I had kind of a delay though.
He's been
Somebody
playing with
pick up
his
at 5.
nuts.
1, 2, 3, 4.
5,
5,
6,
6,
7, 8.
7, 8.
It's balancing.
Yeah, we got you. Yeah, we got you.
3.1.
I had some programs.
It might
I had to close.
also, yeah, it also might be doing the local recording. If you click on that little dot, because I've allowed that button, you can probably shut that off if you want.
Oh, I'm out of storage space anyway, so.
Yeah.
Sarah, I'll be quick if you let me go.
Oh.
That's what he said.
Yep. I just wanted to wish you a happy birthday in person. That's all. I just want to say happy birthday. And also, Grid One, you're a legend. Powder Dusty, you're a legend. Fun. Take your autism. Y'all have a good day.
Thanks, Bane Bear. Shout out to Bane Bear. If any of you enjoy stand-up comedy, he has a show that he does that.
That's cool.
Yeah, so yeah, funny guy.
I love
funny guy.
stand up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
All
sorry,
right.
got popped on here late. I missed the Doge haters. Before I had wanted to engage with them a little bit, but beyond
There's
that,
plenty of them still here.
happy
Yeah.
birthday, Sarah.
One of me.
Thank
One of
you.
the debaters is still here.
Okay,
What?
so yeah, somebody else take up the mantle. Who hates Doge? I just want to throw a question.
Who hates Doge?
I think it's a great
I don't
idea.
hate it. I'm not a fan of it.
I think it's a great idea, but it's targeting fucking who Trump's want targeted.
Okay.
I just don't think that we should have the biggest government contractor ever in the history of the country, the one in charge of it or
But
participating.
he won't
in it.
be in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So
no, I don't. I still can't figure out how this is not illegal. It's such a
Illegal.
massive conflict of interest that it's mind-boggling. But
I don't even know if he signed the contract. He would never say he's the head of Doge because then he'd be able to be held liable. I think they just tricked us somehow and had dude in charge.
He's carried as a special government employee. He's unpaid, and he has a 130-day contract. I get commitment. I don't know that there's a
so
contract.
he got a loophole to be able to do something he shouldn't be doing.
Yeah. Can I hold him accountable? Can I sue him at the end of all of this shit? If he was a government employee, then I should be able to get his personal records
It doesn't
right
matter.
now.
He doesn't have to do anything wrong. Just the fact that he is in the position he is a conflict of interest. He could be totally great and do nothing wrong, but the conflict of interest.
Using that
be
logic,
fine.
none of the
So if it was someone else, you'd be fine then.
Congress should be in Congress, right? Because there's all kinds of people with conflicts of interest in Congress. I agree with you though. We should go to Congress.
I mean, you'd have to be more specific. Most of the people I've brought up the conflict of interest to have said things like, "Yeah, but Nancy Pelosi makes money too," and I'm saying, "Well, I understand Nancy Pelosi is corrupt, but a conflict of interest is different from corruption, right?" So, I don't know. There probably is a bunch of conflicts of interest. I don't.
Yeah, there's more.
If it was not Elon
of interest in a congressperson going to bat for corporations and making millions of dollars off.
Yeah,
of that.
when they have all this stock in a corporation or joint with
I think
this
that's a much
corporation, that they
larger
make the law. Yeah.
I don't
That's
think it's a much
conflict.
larger conflict of interest. You're definitely choosing favorites, but I see your point.
No, I don't care which congressperson it is. If they're making money off of insider trading or even one of
That's
the
a different thing, though. Insider trading is a different thing from and I know that you know this, Grid. So stop acting stupid.
Well, all right, even if
you
it's
can't sue
getting
the
military
IRS either.
bases in their area, right? Like even if it's like, and this is the one that like used to be a big East Coast thing. I'm tired. I'm lacking the fucking state, but I think it was maybe Virginia. They were going to move like a shipyard or some shit, or maybe it was Chesapeake. It doesn't matter. And like the entire reason that they ended up voting in their Congress people was on the idea that they were going to go to bat and keep those military contracts. And they
happens all the time.
This is all whataboutism.
But it
Basically.
happened. It didn't. What about it?
No. So the question is then,
history
where
can't be a
were
lot
you
about
when
it.
that was all going on? It's only when it's something that doesn't help you when you're.
I don't give a
married.
fuck if you think that I'm obligated to address every conflict of interest that
That's
happens.
not what I said.
Where was I? I was nowhere. I'm indifferent to it.
Okay,
Sort
well,
of like
that is precisely the point. And so if you can be indifferent to that, and there's people who are actively saying, yes, this is what we want, this is what we voted for, then
so. Where were you every time anybody else was slightly hypocritical in their application of their opinions?
Anytime I've seen it, I've covered it. Check the channel out. Indian Jesus live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Indian Jesus.
You have better hair than
what
me.
Jesus is in the internet, I swear.
I don't think I've seen the Indian Jesus before. Maybe I'm just not on here.
That's
late
a new one. I've seen the Mexican Jesus or two.
I think I'm mostly in bed by now because old.
Because you're old, yeah.
I am old.
Actually, that is actually the real Jesus. I just talked to him on the phone. Yeah.
Oh my God!
If he
And
was the real
still-
Jesus, he
still
wouldn't be the
hating,
problem. Sasquatch.
still hanging backstage. I have animated effigy. I have Doc And I have Dragon Rage waiting for you fine people to spare them.
Well,
or revive them.
I got to peace out. I would love to keep going back and forth with
You're
everybody.
running because you know I got you on the fucking rope.
Rage quit.
Rage quit.
It's okay. I would run too.
I'll just go back. I'll just go to sleep. I'll sleep quit right here.
Sleep quit.
It's pretty comfortable.
Go to sleep on.
We call it
on the
quiet
panel.
quitting.
I'll quiet quit.
Quiet quit.
You
Ian,
scored?
you should come over to the channel sometime and hang out. We'll chat. Mo, everybody. Non-fun, you're welcome too. You never come up on stage, man. What's up with
Listen,
this?
listen. Okay, Easter was not a good weekend for your stupid. Not stupid. Sorry, your single.
Jeez.
Oh, me, man. Damn.
Brutal, right?
That was rough.
He looks young and innocent, but he'll cut you.
I did like
Blade.
Grit. Even though it was totally rigged, I did like your competition show, and I'm wondering when you're going to do the next one.
It was not rigged. We do it every Saturday night, except this past Saturday. I was fucking tired. I had to be up at like 4:30 that morning, and I'm
Dude,
like,
you wouldn't believe how many DMs. You wouldn't believe how many DMs I got though. That's like they were like, you totally won that second one. I'm just saying. I'm not bitching. I'm just saying. People disagree.
How many?
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you. I did. I'm not going to do. So are you talking about the second one against you and Ben? Because
I
Ben
forget who it was against.
trying to be a. He was just fucking trolling. He wasn't even debating. Like I did not agree with that either. But the judges spoke, and the judges are the judges.
Mhm.
Take it up with Anson. He's sitting right there.
Anson.
What I
It's
didn't
your
do
show,
it.
though. I'm not saying. I'm not even saying to change it. I'm saying I like it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no,
when's the next one going to
It's
be?
a cool format. I'm refining the format a little bit. So, and I hate shilling my shit on Sarah's show, but
No, go for it.
you asked.
Who would do that?
You literally have Indian Jesus right next to you, shamelessly plugging his shit.
Well, I don't
know what you're talking about.
I really
yeah.
wanted to say pause.
Pause. Fabian Liberty does that all the time.
So that I can
rhythm,
still
the
use
rebel.
powdered dusty.
You can do that. I love Fabian Liberty. I wish he'd come on my show more often, but his schedule's like way different than mine. Yeah, so it's a single round elimination, round robin debate panel, a lot like VK, but without the circus act.
Damn,
I'm just saying. I don't. I don't play a clip every time somebody gets eliminated.
Defeated.
Come back up if you want.
That was some verbal combat right there.
Hey man, it's too late for me to be polite. If you haven't noticed, I've been getting progressively less polite.
That you wanted to fight. That's why you stayed up here, man.
I'm tired. I got to go to bed. I got to get up fucking early in the morning, and I got a bunch of business shit I got to do tomorrow.
For what?
I got a $20 bounty on my bottle of rum. It's not getting open until somebody pays for it.
For what? So if I wanted to bitch about the government right now, I couldn't, because the government is actually not my biggest problem right now. It's morons. Morons are everywhere, and we can't get rid of them. They breed apparently overnight, and they infect other moronic thoughts as well. I have this. So we had this deal all flowing together, right? It's like $380,000 for this business that's worth right about $380,000, and we could turn that. I could make that into something that would make way more money. But the problem is they're in a building, and the rent's been the same since like 2002. And it was fine because the old lady that owned it was cool with it and all that. But as we're getting ready, as we're finishing due diligence, the building gets sold. And now it's going to go to $12,000 a month instead of $3,000 a month rent. And
you deserve that, man. Didn't you just say you procrastinated all that time? You
sucked all the money out of the deal. And I'm like, the fuck? Like, so now I've got to figure out. We're in damage control. We got a lot of money invested in this deal already. So
that sucks.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
business, man.
tax would fix this.
People think business is like buying a business is like pretty easy, or what, you just get, write somebody a check or some shit. But no,
I'm not sure anybody is under that illusion, Greg.
the people that
Lots of people are.
get paid are the lawyers. Every time I fucking send a letter, the lawyer gets paid. Every time I need a letter read, that fucker gets paid. Gets paid for reading my fucking mail. How about that?
Read this one for me, Grid. Read this one for me.
Keep on trucking. K2, what's up, buddy? I haven't seen you in a while. $5 from him comes in. Happy birthday, party cake, tomato, and left tomato.
He's good at that. I didn't expect that.
That's good.
You're hired, Grid.
Yeah,
Good stream elements. We have Grid one.
They're just going to downsize me anyway, so don't worry about it. I'm going to get downsized.
Yeah, I want to audition for this role too, please.
Grid, anytime you want to come on and read my super chats, I'll give you 10% cut.
Okay, now you're all making me jealous. Fuck this.
I'm all over that. 10% is 10%, baby.
I'm getting jealous. I actually love reading super chats, and you all deny me this opportunity.
Mel, you're fired.
All right, I'm out of here. I can't fire me. Everybody on the stage is cool except Mel. Mel, you got to get back to being cool. Try harder or try less hard. I'm not really sure which right now. But like I said, just try and be cool. I got to go. You guys have a great rest of your
Who
night.
needs to try to be cool? I could.
Thank you, Grid. Thanks for doing the debate. I appreciate having you on.
I do also have
Mel,
to
you just
run. I think this dog's gonna
Hold
crap
on.
himself.
Shut up.
I think my dog's gonna crap himself if I don't go, so I do also have to run. But thank you so much for
Can you let that
having me,
happen?
and happy birthday.
Busy Jesus, I'll see you on the second coming, bro. I'll see you later.
There you go. The
That would be
second
really
coming.
good content.
And
Just for your dog shit.
thank you guys. Have a good one.
Bye, Indian. And let's see, that's up next. And then I've got Dragon Rage and then Grumpelstiltskin up next in line.
Grumble. Love that dude. That's so funny. Got a toast for you. Actually, it's a quote from Will Rogers. We could certainly slow down the aging process if it had to work its way through Congress.
Yep.
Ooh,
I think
No, that's not
The,
true. We still don't have
Kissy-
enough medical
Kissy
understanding of it to do that.
Kissy Cat says, "Tell Dusty I'll read his super chats."
Oh, she's got the perfect accent too. She's got that Appalachian West Virginian, sweet as molasses. Man, it's just so fine. She's a perfect ginger.
I thought she was a dude. I was talking to her in the chat.
Although
Calm
reading
down,
super chats
Anson.
would be a waste of her PhD.
I got a better one. Only a simp speaks in those types of tones.
We all wait for
Yeah, right.
education.
That's fair.
So I guess just a question to throw out there then, I guess, for whoever wants to grab onto it. I was going to ask it earlier, but let's say that I grant that the original statement of Doge was just a dirty political lie, right? Like they came in, they stated what they were going to do, and then they fell short.
Okay.
If they do save like $60 billion at the end of the day, would that not be a good thing? Or it's a moral question? Is it morally opposed to it?
It just depends on
how
where
it's
they
done.
save it and what the potential negative effects are, right? Because if they're saving money by cutting USAID programs that I mentioned earlier, some of those things I think are really morally good, then I'm going to have an issue with it. And
at what cost?
You would agree that like cutting all the money that we spend on the military would be bad for national security, right? But we can save a lot of money.
No. That's the first place those would have went if they were serious. They'd have went.
No,
there.
I'm not
They
saying.
spent
I'm saying all the money. And this is I'm doing a reductio
yeah.
for who
Okay,
I think it was Mo who asked that by process of elimination. But you would agree that like getting rid of national security and cutting all funding to the military would be bad, right?
Well, that's an extreme. All versus some is two different things.
But no, this is a reductio.
savings.
But
I'll
so
engage
the
the
point is,
hypothetical. Cutting all of it would be bad. I'll grant you that. Yes.
and so it's at least fundamentally possible that cutting a certain amount of money just to save money is bad. You have to cut money strategically.
Yes.
Sure. Yes.
Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah,
And
I have nothing. I
our
have
problem
no
with
disagreement with
Doge
that.
is that the strategy. And I'm just saying this because as a leftist, I do see this, and I see repeating history in this. It seems that the strategy is a soft coup, not actually making a more robust government.
But I guess the nature of my question was: let's assume that
It actually
it
does.
was good. It was actually good cuts. It was actual waste. Would you have any?
Oh, I
problem?
missed that part to begin with.
Nobody, nobody fundamentally disagrees with the mission of getting rid of waste, fraud, and abuse. No, I don't think you're going to find basically anyone who
That's
disagrees with that. as
that's
being a good
propaganda
call.
talking points that mean nothing, though, right? Well, that's just
Well,
to sell something.
the majority of, I was just looking at some of the data. The majority of the cut comes from like contracts being cut and grants, right? So there was a gentleman on here earlier that made the point about no one's going to come in and get fired because they're just going to rename the title and move people around. Which I have seen that in higher, like we've seen examples of that in higher ups. There was some that changed their title like preemptively almost to like get out of like DI for instance.
That
right?
gentleman is over you right now, by the way.
Oh, okay, great. So
And so this is
that,
what
but so that
sorry,
really, so yeah, I was just going to make the point that that doesn't really seem to be the bulk of where the quoted savings are coming from. It seems to be
I
coming.
see people crying on the internet all the time about losing their jobs, so they're definitely cutting jobs.
Sure,
Yeah,
but that's
this is
anecdotal
why-
evidence,
Yeah,
right? That's not the that's not the taking into consideration the whole. That's just people crying. People are always going to cry, right? You would agree with that?
Well, I
mean,
was just
what
battling
he's
the
saying is that
statement
there are
no
people
one
losing
was
their
leaving
Where do
their
people
job.
cry? Do people cry when we invaded Iraq? Do people cry when we had the housing market collapse?
Okay, those are
What
kind of
aboutism?
different
Crying, it's
issues.
okay.
That's just whataboutism.
So
The government
no,
doesn't
what is-
exist.
what is-
The
what
government
about it?
doesn't.
Hold on, one at a time, please.
Yeah,
This
let
is
Sherlock
why
Holmes
I said
continue his
Grizz.
line there.
Yeah, fucking cuck.
Can we
This
just
is why-
can we
This is-
agree though that the proof is in the pudding and that they are obviously not making targeted intelligent cuts when they have to go back and rehire people in multiple instances?
I like it.
Because they cut.
Would you say
people
that
who
that
were
is,
actually
is
necessary?
the overwhelming majority of their cuts, or was that only a fraction of their cuts that they had to do that with?
But it's happening though. If your
No, no, no.
argument is that they're coming in there with a scalpel,
Yeah.
Do
and
you
they're cutting
acknowledge that?
people who like are necessary for like nuclear weapon safety? Like an
Do
egregious
you really
error
think
that
like
bad?
our entire nuclear structure safety hinges on?
I'm not
couple
making a
people?
maximalist argument, so stop trying to say that I am. I know right wingers have this problem with always turning arguments into maximalist
Who said
arguments.
I'm a
I'm not saying
right-winger?
that.
Did you agree that
Well, you
most of
sound like one.
those cuts are
Well,
effective?
you sound like
Did
you know
I
what
hear
you're
you
talking about,
say
but I didn't
that?
point that out. Go on.
You didn't say it outright, but Effigy, did you say that? Do you agree that most of Doge's cuts have been effective, and it's just a few that are going astray?
No, I think Doge's cuts are mostly arbitrary to the point of being partisan.
Okay,
Like
I agree.
I think they're going after specific programs in a lot of cases that they simply don't like. They're
Clearly.
classifying entire things that the left have gone
Exactly.
after to push as labeling as fraud, abuse, or whatever.
Yes, whoever was debating, that should have been your argument. Whoever was up
Who's,
there debating.
damn, he moved. Who's the guy with the pipe? That gentleman is smoking on my pipe. Obviously, I should have it.
That is
I
a
should serve
that
it
is
more
a
than you.
Clark's
sir.
favorite, my man. That is a
Says
Clark's
First of all,
favorite.
Joe, Joe, there's many ways to skin a cat. I was going to ask some more follow-up questions, such as
A cat or a fox, whichever.
okay, that's just graphic. So, would you let me paint a scenario here, and I would say it is a parallel. The CEO of Walmart becomes president, and to some degree, it's almost clearly stated. You have to read a little bit between the lines, but it's almost clearly stated that he just doesn't like how hard it is to conduct private business within the government because they have so many regulations. Do you think it's fair to assume that somebody who has demonstrated that they operate on the profit motive under capitalism, which as capitalism is, it is a profit motive, that they may be doing that job to seek a further profit motive? Do you think that's a plausible argument?
You mean, are you saying, does crony capitalism exist? Yes, of course it does. That's what you're describing. That's the system we have now.
So how is what Trump and Elon are doing not crony capitalism?
Well, so Elon is losing money doing what he is doing. He is not grifting and gaining wealth. He's risking a ton. he was at the top, right? He was the world's richest man, and he's basically putting himself in a position of exposure politically and alienating a large market share of people who would ordinarily buy the product themselves.
That happened
he's
later.
not benefiting from this.
That's not true.
Benefiting is bad
As
faith.
soon as he wasn't benefiting,
Wait, are you aware that all of his companies, Tesla, his space corporation, all of them were being investigated. All of those people just happened to get fired under Doge. All of those investigations went away.
Get him,
Well,
Joe.
good. That's government. They should fire the rest of the people doing
That's crony
investigations so they
capitalism.
stop harassing other people too. That's a good idea.
But you would admit that
Government
if
ought to
that's
get rid of
true,
all
he
those
would be
people harassing
benefiting, though,
folks.
right?
I agree.
You
with
would admit that if it's true, your argument about him not benefiting would be wrong, though. Assume it was. I don't know it to be true. Assume it was true.
So government investigations don't mean squat. They've investigated tons of people for political reasons.
That's MAGA support
Okay,
right there.
so that's great, but like you would agree he would still be benefiting from those investigations going away, right?
I was making a financial benefit argument and not a fake investigation argument. We can go down the fake investigation argument if you want to.
The investigations would cost him money still. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The amount of money that the investigations would cost him is minuscule
understand that,
compared to the market share of all of the libtards in California who would have bought his electric vehicles had he shut his mouth and kept towing the line that he was doing.
As soon as that stuff happened, he said, "I'm stepping away from Doge and I'm going back to Tesla." Like he literally, as soon as that happened, and also as soon as he didn't get his way with the tariffs that Trump did, which also, had a negative effect on the stock market.
So are you saying that he didn't damage himself by sticking his neck out politically? Are you trying to make? You're making my argument for me by admitting that he did damage himself, right?
No, but as soon as he did, he wasn't willing to stick through it or anything. He announced that he was going back to Tesla, and I also think because I think Elon said that he was trying to convince Trump to not go full scale on the trade war thing, and he failed in doing that, which I don't know if he expected to fail in doing that.
And K2 Keep On Trucking says there's more volume coming in the USA from Canada. Kick Mill for 5. And next in line is Grumple Stiltskin. Then also I have Darth Grumpy Dad hanging backstage. And then next in line from there would be Flow State. You know what to do.
Hey,
Good
Grumpy.
evening. Hey, sexy trousers.
Yeah. Hey.
I figured Grid was leaving, so you got to have a token like "I hate the IRS" and personal income taxes shouldn't be a thing guy on the panel. So,
I
agree.
Grumble, Grid is a typical small business owner. I just want to point that out for the folks that are in the chat that small business owners, of course, because they have to pay taxes, they're always going to complain about taxes. And then, it's on to the next thing, right? It's like ice cream. If someone else has a bigger ice cream bowl than you,
is there a department of taking part of your ice cream?
Wrong, but you don't plan anything.
Did dude fall out and somebody had what happened over there to the left?
Although the tomato's looking pretty spicy there. That's
I
nice.
think he got attacked by a rabbit raccoon or something.
Strong ass leg.
Tomato never skips.
I might need a minute. That's like Chun-Li plus like the green M&M mushed into a tomato right
Jams
there.
are serious, bro. Like I like those legs.
Chun-Li thighs right there, y'all. That's crazy.
I'm sorry. I was wanting to point out that duck only plans for 24 hours. Anything past 24 hours doesn't exist as far as duck's concerned. So keep that
That is
in mind.
clearly a lot lizard tomato, Sasquatch. That is clearly lot lizard.
That is just my type of tomato. Do you see?
That's 3:30 in the morning in the back of the hotel. That's what you see.
I don't care if it's last call out the bar, bro. That is a nice tomato.
Okay.
Sorry, I just wanted to kind of throw some to the previous statement about him being a business owner. Wouldn't business owners be more in touch with having employees, hiring? Wouldn't small business owners be more in touch with how crazy and crappy taxes are?
That's a great question.
I like that.
That's a great question. So businesses in the United States have such a low barrier to entry. And that's why we have so many great small business owners in the United States, because almost anyone can start a business. But it's like anything else. It's, you're going to find people who are business savvy, but they're not all expert marketers. They're not all accountants. They're not all they're not all proficient at finance, which is different from accounting. So there's a lot of factors to consider.
That's why most businesses fail, right? So when you have someone who has a successful business like Grid, you might want to listen to what he has to say.
Is why most businesses fail.
As a really quick
Well,
item on this,
I would
if
understand
you
listening
wanna
to Grid
start
when
a
it comes to like.
No offense.
Just one
That's what
moment,
it-
not fun. There's a lot of companies out there that help people register LLCs, and you got to figure out what you want to register. But there are a lot of them out there under $500 in most states. If you got an idea or you want to do like corp to corp contracting or whatever, it's not that difficult to start a business. Like to just register one, it's very not. I just
Yeah,
like
but that's not
I got to preach
starting
that
a
for
business.
PSA out there. I'm sorry, not fun. Please continue.
And
That is what it is.
William says to send
It's
back
registering
the other tomato. I'm assuming that's the
Lot lizard, right?
thick-thighed lot
Yeah.
lizard tomato to the
Oh,
back,
no.
and then also rude mud crab choosing to pull up powder dusty. Or wait, and then I also have, but I need Flo for you to pick another person that's getting booted because Rude said you could boot somebody.
Oh, Flo has power. Watch out.
Oh no.
Oh.
Can you drop it down so I can see the names of everybody?
What is this? Like you don't know who these people are?
Let's
I can
see.
forgive that.
Who's off limits?
Everybody's open.
Yep.
Okay. God damn it! Give me Dragon Rage.
He just got here.
I know, but his camera's off.
Hello.
And
I was
I know
hoping he
Joe-
got mail for Dragon Rage. That would have pissed him off. I was hoping mail popped up. Hello.
I would.
Good evening. You're also a grump, I see.
Hi.
I've met
Might
your
get my
type
own voice
before.
over the headphones, so I wasn't sure if it's working.
Can we
I'm
get a
new to
date-
this, if you can't
get a date-
tell.
Date time. These two need to like compare notes. They need to
There could-
add to grumpy lore.
There can be only one. I think y'all got to fight to the death right now.
Yes. Let's make them do it.
Oh God, what are we fighting over? Oh,
Just pick a top.
So
Oh.
Highlander, was the original series better or the? There can be only
yeah,
one.
the first movie was definitely better. It was way
mean, that-
better.
yeah,
way
that's-
classier.
That's true.
Even though the Scottish guy pretended to be an Egyptian, kind of like with a British accent on top. I mean,
What do you think about? I don't want to say. Wait, soyka. No, that's probably a bad term to use. Actors who are like very anti-gun, being like badass characters in movies, like Liam Neeson.
yeah.
The whole
Bruce
point
Willis.
was for you to fight over who's the better at being grump. Okay, you got
Oh.
Rumpelstiltskin and Darth Grumpy.
I'm also a dad too, but I don't claim
yeah,
my name.
4 kids, 5 grandkids, mad all the fucking time.
I'm old enough for grandkids,
Like-
but I don't
like-
have any.
Like when you walk back and find them painting the wall with the toothbrush with toothpaste on it. Yeah.
Seriously, but I'm grumpier because get off my lawn.
You guys are both lame as fuck. These are the worst
I'm not
grumps
very
on earth.
grumpy. I
No,
gotta get like something's got to rile me up
you
first.
two look like a couple of gay men who just got out of marriages and found each other.
I mean,
No,
if
no,
you're
sorry,
propositioning,
I just don't
Mr.
find
Flo,
other
I'm not.
hair-
I'm saying that you guys are
that's what
supposed to fight, but
it
you're gonna
sounds like.
you're gonna start propositioning each other if you bromance any longer.
Well, no, you already did. Why would we have to do it now?
Yeah, didn't you just set up a date?
Does Grump
you
Dad, does
set
it
up-
make you jealous when he hits on me?
Not
No,
really.
you're cool with that. You're just gonna let him do that right here in front of you.
Hey, he can do whatever he wants to you. I hope
You can
somebody's
have
filming
him.
it and you guys make some cash.
Yeah, you
No,
can
no,
have them. I don't even like. I'll just take like I don't know, maybe like a 5%. I get 5% royalty. Just take
5%?
it.
5%?
Yeah. We're doing business here.
Do I get a
We're making
high
deals.
fee?
Yeah, I get 5%. Then yeah.
Told you guys were gay.
You go do whatever, and then
Hmm.
it's good. I'll send you over the contract later.
Neither of you are grumpy.
DocuSign.
Yeah, not at the moment.
Yeah, that was a total fail. You guys aren't grumpy enough at all.
You should have let me in there. I could have got them at each other.
Grumpy
Oh,
Dad
yeah,
almost went there when he was talking about the grandchildren. I thought he was going to lose it for a minute.
No.
But,
I heard that Rumpelstiltskin said that Darth Grumpy's mama was a monkey. Go.
I'm gonna put the
just fabricate some
grumpy-
shit. Make
No,
it happen.
Put
Fuck
the
it.
non-grumpy
my
men
dad was
next
a
to each
spirit
other.
chucking prairie native though.
Oh my God! I thought they were gonna fucking.
Maybe we should have let
Why
Duck.
we
try to
why we
piss
yelling
him off.
about dead people?
Hey,
I
Matt,
feel like Duck might have been able to do it. Duck, did you piss those guys off?
flip off or pop off on people. I can do either.
Can we
on
get
demand.
Doug to Mo's
Piss
brother?
them off. You get the grumpies mad.
Oh, getting the two
He's
grumpies
mad.
mad.
We seen Duck get
Give me
angry
1
yet?
second. Okay.
I
so,
think Duck was trying to.
wait,
sorry.
CIA catchphrase. The laptop got out. This is going to be
I
great
meant the
for
grumpies, not me.
minutes you guys
That's
are
funny.
actually
I
on
can see
panel.
like the best
Okay.
part is like the lineup. It looks like the mug shots of CIA guys.
Yeah,
CIA
yeah,
guys
yeah.
were like, "Yeah, no, that ain't real, bro."
Like John,
It's their mugshots now.
Kiriakou, he's one of those guys.
Wasn't it 50 guys who signed? Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
We'll sign off on that.
They'll be
Yeah,
their
all of them
mugshots
should lose
now.
their clearances.
We can hope. We can hope. They
That's
did
a-
lose their
50.
clearances. That was awesome.
That's a fair
Oh, they did?
point.
Outstanding.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
What happened?
I
50
just wanna-
CIA agents did what?
I really like the fact that we have a Sherlock Holmes thing going on.
Yeah.
We've got
Yes.
2 grumpies. We've got a tomato cake. This is beautiful too.
The tomato cake
Yes.
is.
Flo looks
this
grumpy.
This is the best birthday.
I'm the grumpiest one up here.
a girl could ever ask.
Holy shit.
I apologize if I didn't
I
say
just-
happy birthday already,
I'm a
Sarah.
bit too nervous here to be.
That's
She
grumpy
tricked
right now. I'm
me
sure
the
something
day.
will come along to
She
lighten
tricked
up
me
the-
the other day. Damn it, she got 12 birthdays.
Double fisted grumpies.
Oh my goodness.
The mug of water.
Who is
I,
the
I
dominant
can.
grumpy?
I do want to answer Mo Rebuttal's thing from a little bit ago. By now, I can totally understand like listening to small businesses when it comes
You're
to
gonna
like,
have to
maybe
Oh,
how
okay,
annoying it
got
is to fill out their taxes or whatever, and listening to people like Grid when it comes to like business advice.
Well, more than that,
I think
employees, healthcare.
Well, sure. I
there's
think
a
Dr.
long
just saying,
list
like,
of things you have to go through.
the domain knowledge is relevant,
Benefits.
right? So like it's
Benefits
perfectly
are
fine
huge.
to like talk to
Filling
Grid
out
about
the
how
taxes.
it's perfectly
Never mind
fine to talk
paying
to Grid
them,
about
just
how
filling out
Why
the
are
taxes.
you talking
Right.
over each
it's
other?
perfectly fine to
Jesus,
talk to Grid about like
fuck.
how annoying it is to fill out taxes, and then like maybe discuss what's a more efficient way to implement a tax system, which is a DBCFT, by the way. But like, I'm not going to trust. I don't intrinsically trust small business owners on like general macroeconomics. Like, I'm not going to say, oh, the small
I
business
dig it.
owner says we should go back to the fucking gold standard. Therefore,
All right, I dig it.
A lot of people don't trust non-elected politicians that have no
businesses-
interest in making
business owners
decisions.
are
Large
allowed to-
businesses,
There's on
business
opposite
owners
sides.
are
not
allowed
both.
large
to do
businesses
that.
have entire compliance departments, right? There's industries built around filling out forms, so you minimize it, but it's a huge inefficiency economically.
Well, yeah, and that's
Right.
why
And
large businesses are okay with a lot of these regulations, right? Because it creates a
Yes.
monopoly. They're allowed to
Because
expand and grow,
Okay.
and it makes it harder for the lower, smaller businesses to actually rise up and challenge them. We see this with all kind of companies. We've seen this
Yeah, I don't really
time and time
disagree.
again. So,
More regulation, it just makes it harder for the smaller business because
and that's
exactly
why
what
I'm definitely
Grumpy
pro
Mo.
getting
We got more grumps going on. Fully endorse it.
It's called a
I'm
barrier to
grumpy. There's
entry.
so much
Gotta
regulation.
point
I'm
to
sick and
unions
tired
as
of it.
well to make it
This is
much
bullshit.
more-
okay, I'm an
Well,
abundance liberal. Like, I'm all for making the state more efficient and making markets more competitive.
Right.
Are you
I'll
still
make
You
that-
guys make
sir?
good arguments, but whenever you guys get in power, or at least your side that you're arguing for gets in power, they never actually do that, right? So what we're seeing right now is not Doge doing what you're saying. We're seeing them go after things in a partisan way to try and reshape things. They're not
What have they
actually
gone
going
after
after
in a partisan way?
inefficiency.
Can you give me some examples?
I mean, you have to assume that that's correct. Just
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
well, let's just grant,
That's
let's just
correct.
grant
It was
that's
a
correct.
claim.
But I just want to hear his examples. Just let's grant that's correct. They're doing it. What's
He
Anything
made a
DEI.
claim, so something.
Gentlemen, there has been a request from the chat.
Okay, but I got to do it the bluegrass style.
Who
How
would
are you
like?
gonna-
Who would,
so no
who would
drums?
like? Who would like to lead?
Oh,
Happy birthday to you.
to you.
Happy birthday.
Happy
to
birthday
you.
to you.
Happy birthday to Sarah the Grumpy Tomato. Happy
Happy birthday to you. That was really
Who's
rough.
going to cover
Really
the Marilyn Monroe version?
Happy birthday.
That one.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
wait, this isn't being recorded, right?
Hold on. Who
Yeah,
was
now
singing
you're
with
Sarah
me?
the Grumpy
Who was
Tail
the
now.
absolute Chad that was singing with me? Who was that? Which one of you? Come on
I
now.
don't know. You were all sounding
want
like
the
a
Marilyn
bunch of
Monroe
dying
version?
cats.
Yeah, the Marilyn Monroe version. Who was that?
Oh, that was me.
You go, girl.
I
I hear
was
you.
well.
Flex.
It was actually a dying cat.
Mr. President.
Mr. President. And K2 keep on trucking says Joe Lot Lizard would go in the bunk in sleeper, for whatever that means. And Kissy Cat saying the same thing I was thinking. That was terrible.
Was
It really was.
How
But
dare
it's
you. Well,
because StreamYard.
We didn't have time to rehearse.
StreamYard has
Did.
a delay, so what you're hearing
hard.
and then it's actually
But the
got a
delay is different for every single person on panel, and that's why we talk over each other when we don't realize we're doing it, and that's why some of us just pull through because somebody's going to give up eventually.
So I would like to engage though with Effigy just for that last question a little bit more. So can you give me some examples that I can go like look up that kind of basically proves that they're doing it in a bipartisan way to benefit them or be shady?
He said partisan, not bipartisan.
Oh, okay, partisan way.
DEI programs, right?
What about
Would you say that the right is attacking DEI programs simply because they are left-wing ideas?
No, I would
That's
say
built
they're
on that
attacking them
assumption.
because they're toxic.
Don't you think they've made an economic argument against saying like, well, we're not getting the best in places because DEI is putting people who shouldn't be allowed to be in these positions?
So
it is an economic argument they're making, and it is part
No,
of
you're making a
DEI.
false. I'm sorry, Mo. It's yours, man. But
No, go ahead, go engage with it. I'm
it's built on a really like a really wobbly step ladder. If I could make that as an assertion, you're saying that people who shouldn't be in those places versus that are the best qualified. It's about meritocracy versus, hey, do the exact opposite of what Martin Luther King said. You know, the content of your character, the quality of what you're doing. No, it's because of your skin color. That's why you got the job. That puts
No, those kind of initiatives
everybody.
are saying that what you're
That
saying
puts-
is
that
not
makes
the case.
everybody, and it's bad for the entire environment because that makes everybody who isn't straight white male, I guess, a suspect of being DEI. So it undermines them.
So, well, actually, I would even go a little further than that. Let's say I just grant you, okay, yeah, that's a partisan thing he's going after, right? DEI, left likes it, right doesn't, right? Let's just say I grant you that. So, isn't that what every administration does when they get in and they want to like start cutting things? They go after the things they don't like. When the Democrats get in and they start cutting things that they don't like from Republicans, are you gonna?
You can argue that to an extent, but you cannot say that it is a historical precedent
No, but wait,
for people to gut the government based on what previous presidents
To
did.
be fair, though,
government
are
gutted?
you personally going to wave the banner when it comes down to the Democrats and they start cutting things in a partisan way? Are you going to be there day one and say this is bullshit?
Are Democrats known for getting into power and gutting are cutting lots of things? Is that what they're known for? Do they do that? I thought y'all's biggest critique of Democrats is that they didn't do that. So it seems like a
each
weird
party
hypothetical
goes
to me.
after it. That's not what I said. Each party goes, and I'm just saying each party goes after the things they don't like. That's why they get rid of it, right?
I would say that one party likes to go after the other, and the other party likes to put in things that are for their own ideas. Like the Democrats are not known for getting into government and like going like we have to excise every right wing idea from the government. That's a kind of y'all thing.
You just listed one or two.
Well, look. So the difference would be in the process and procedure. So I'm not a super big Doge debater dude. Like I defer to Rinrold usually, who was here earlier. But the claim that he would make, and I think it's probably true, but I haven't done a lot of the reading myself, is that when Democrats like cut things they don't like, usually they're going through Congress to cut these things. They write up a bill and do that or whatever. And it seems like Doge is just doing a lot of these things through the executive branch with questionable legal authority, which is why we've seen these lawsuits, some of which Doge has.
You haven't
not really lost yet, but has
directly into what they're actually cutting. They're cutting things that are under the power of the executive branch, largely.
Well, so again, I haven't done a lot of reading on this myself. But my understanding is, there's already been lawsuits about, questioning whether they do really have the authority.
Dude, I can bring up a lawsuit on you for wearing that dopey shirt. That doesn't make it valid.
Right, but there's also already been like temporary restraining orders and like other like state. That's why they've had to keep some
really
of these people.
quickly. The
They've
point
had to
of the
rehire
lawsuit,
people
though,
already because of
the point of the
because
lawsuit is that they took an agency whose entire point was to upgrade technology, and then they're turning it into a budgeting, cost-cutting thing.
That is one of them.
That they're trying to create an agency without actually doing what you have to do to create an agency, which is pass a fucking law.
Sir, no, sir, that's not true. The Department of Education
kind of
was
irrelevant because the president can just fire people, and
most of your
pass the power is the
administrative
executive.
agencies were created through executive orders. So the executive branch has almost full control over them unless they've been compartmentalized. I'm sorry, compartmentalized by Congress through action.
You got it. You good.
Okay, so does anyone here disagree with the notion?
I may be wrong on that. I'll check.
Does anyone here disagree with the notion that we need regulation on markets to prevent, things like some of the issues with capitalism spiraling out of control, such as hegemony and monopolies and stuff like that?
I do.
Can we clarify something real quick? How many people on panel are communists?
Businesses, they can't become monopolies. It's when businesses and the government get tied together that monopolies get created.
I don't think that's always
How many people are communists here?
Seems
about.
I have a story about being a communist, but I'm not actually a communist.
I want to hear what Nonfon was going to say.
Yeah, I mean, like again, I'm an abundance neoliberal dog. Okay, so I don't entirely disagree with you that it can't happen, but it does seem to be it entirely seems plausible to me that there are cases where a company could exercise monopoly power, not because of the government, but just because they, have so much market power. I think even to an extent, Amazon might fit that. And I also think that, even without strict monopoly, there's obviously cases of monopsony where a few companies are in control of things.
So my point is though, is it just Darth Grumpy Dad who thinks that we need zero regulations?
I
didn't hear him say that.
It's not that I believe we need zero regulations. I believe we need more detachment from the government and our businesses. They shouldn't interact at the level they do. They're
so then you're anti-Trump, right? Because Trump is merging the private interests and the state.
Why are you telling him what he's thinking? Stop that.
Well, it doesn't make sense any other way because
you're just interpreting what you hear in a way you find most beneficial.
The most visceral manifestation of that possible is a
You're
rich.
trying to create a false dichotomy here. That
Is
if
a
you
rich
believe
person-
this, you must believe that. If you don't believe this, you have to believe that. And that's just fallacious thought.
Well, this is why I brought up the Walmart CEO becoming president for the same reasons. We have a rich person also working with someone who does own businesses to undermine regulations in the government, which prevent things like corporations that can take over stuff. Now, I'll agree with you. Some of these regulations are great, but then that becomes a question of how we implement these regulations and who they target rather than necessarily not having regulations.
The federal government has two jobs: to protect our borders and protect my civil liberties. Everything else you're talking about is done at the state level. It starts at city, county, state.
Supposed to be.
You go back, supposed to be. You go back and you look. Like earlier, somebody was talking about getting LLCs. You could get them for $500. Then, well, that's great. Now, what business are you doing? Are you trying to be a carpenter? Right? Because now you need certifications to be a carpenter. Are you going to do work on somebody's house? Now you need to go down to the city hall and get a permit to work. If you own your house, you want to replace the door. In some municipalities, you have to go down and pay for a work permit to change the door on your house. So yes, I believe there are far too many regulations on our society. So business owners should not have to go through all this stuff. If you want to hang a shingle and start making
What about a homeowner?
Bookends.
Not just business owners, homeowners. A homeowner. I had a damaged roof. A roof was damaged in a storm. After a whole bunch of frou-frou, I had to replace my roof, right? The insurance wouldn't pay for it, so I ended up in a position where I was fixing to have to write a pretty hefty check. I go up, try to get the permit to do the roof. There's nobody at the office. I call the guy from the office. He's like, I'll be in tomorrow. I miss him. I miss him again. I miss him a fourth time. The guys show up, put my roof on. And then they call me up and go, hey, why didn't you get a permit for that? You weren't there.
You had a contractor that didn't pull the permit? Wait, Squatch, you had a contractor that was doing the work that they didn't pull the permit? Is that normal there?
I went to go pull the permit myself before I ever started it. 3 months later, I still haven't tracked down the guy that I'm supposed to give money to get the permit. Neither has the people doing the roof. And we're at the point where all the materials here, everything's on the ground, everything's set up. Even the guys are here. Put the roof on, and I went down and sat at the city hall and waited for about 3 hours until the guy finally showed up. And I was like, hey, I need this permit. And I would rather be here myself than having one of the guys over there put my roof on be here. And he was like, it's fine, man. I'm on a whole bunch of different committees and stuff. I've got things I don't care about any of that. Take my money, please. And don't make me tear my roof off.
Okay, so I think what we need to do is realize that what Doge is doing, right, is it's looking at regulations as being intrinsically wasteful, for example, and then getting rid of the things that stand in the way of private interests. Now, what I think we're missing is that the majority of these things that came up under the idea that the government exists to protect your private liberties. Now, Caucasian mentioning insurance was an interesting thing here because yes, insurance does make these waters very muddied, but that's again private interest ruining things for people, less so the government.
That was me being a moron and not reading my policy correctly.
Sure,
I
but
have a question for you.
Yeah, and
Hold on, let her finish.
One sentence to land my
Hold
plane.
on, let her finish.
We have to examine these policies individually and decide if they work for the people or for private interest, and then decide what they are.
The people are private interest.
Instead of making broad declarations.
Rather than make that a statement.
Sorry, I meant corporate interest. That was a good point.
I have a question.
I just want to concede something. That was a good point. I meant corporate interest and the interest of the rich versus the interest of the people as a whole.
Or declarations about broads.
Yeah, people don't have jobs.
Like that lot lizard to me.
So my question is there ever a case where the interest...
How are you going to rephrase that?
I'm not. It is about broads in almost every case. Every case. Broads. Yes. Women. That's the reason for all of it. The whole thing. All of you are completely mistaken. You think it's money. You think it's other things. Nope. It's the hoo-ha.
Well, speaking of mistaken, really quickly, I
economics.
did look it up, and yes, U.S. executive departments do have to be created by laws, and yes, the education department was created by law, so we're all mistaken then, Sasquatch.
It's pretty recent, too.
1979.
Yeah.
So now you get what we're saying. You have to create an executive department through a law, and they're trying to take an executive department that was only there to upgrade technology and turn it into some kind of like budget auditing thing, skirting the law.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
That's what I was saying
Did
earlier.
you not hear the part where I was drinking? I didn't mean to say.
Wow. No, you can't do
I
that.
assume
That's
that
some
at all
bullshit,
times.
Pope. That's some
normal,
bullshit,
Squatch.
Pope.
Aren't you drinking all the time, Sasquatch?
I try, but people don't pay me all the time. I've been paid to drink this pipe.
Bad Sasquatch. That's bad coat.
Are you going
even paid to drink this pipe?
If you get drunk and you lose a debate, look, if I lose a debate because I'm high, I'm gonna fucking own it. If you lose a debate because you're drunk, you fucking own it. You don't blame being drunk.
Sure. But let me lose it first. Don't just spurg out before I get there.
Kirby's getting the timeout. And I've got non-fawn ready to come back up. I guess you got kicked or something. Your internet.
My Wi-Fi just totally stopped for a second, but I'm back.
Hey, animated.
Hey, I want to ask you
that's
question, please. Can I get it non-fun a little bit, please? Hi.
Sure.
So
Get in there.
Are you live non-fun?
Are I haven't talked to you directly, but once before, and it wasn't for long. But are you still in college?
Yeah.
Are you still living like dorm life or home life?
I live at home right now. So
home as in parents or home as in your personal house? Okay.
Home as in parents' home. Yeah.
Okay, I have no issue with this. I'm merely trying to gather information. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not coming at you. So
Do it as long as you can.
This is the difference
Hey, it just started
between.
to rain here. I got to be right back. All the tools in the yard.
I don't know.
This is a situation where
to me.
you're dealing with someone who has a whole lot of information that has been gathered by other people and not a whole lot of experience in the subjects that he's speaking on. And that's why him and Grid One have such an oppositional view on this. Is Grid One didn't go to college and learn all the stuff that you've learned and get all the data that you've got and the ease with which you can like interact with the whole infosphere, as it were. He went out and like bloodied his nose against the wall of progress to try to make a freaking thing happen. And while he might have had a shoe up in it, he did it like quite physically. And you're sitting there in your parents' house talking about data that you've acquired through internet searches and talking to your professors. And I dig it. I totally dig it, Bert. But is there possible that you have misconstrued the circumstances based off of the lack of reality surrounding data? It is data, and the way you tabulate it matters. And if even unintended consequences take place in that case. So is it possible that you've made a wrong assumption somewhere?
Data on what? Like I'm gonna have degrees in confidence everywhere. It's obviously possible, especially in areas where I haven't read like a ton on that I don't have a perfect understanding of it. It's obviously obviously possible. The fact that I'd be willing to spend money that at least one of the beliefs I have is false, and I think that's true of like literally everyone.
Sure. Aren't you an econ major though? Are you an econ?
Right now I just go to community college, and eventually I'll transfer to a bigger college to get my econ.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I think higher
Really quick,
education.
though, that's an appeal to personal experience fallacy. Just want to throw that out.
But yeah, but like here's the. I mean, here's the thing: is that usually when I'm talking to people, even people like, no offense, Grid, it's like when I'm having a conversation with him about, for example, tariffs, and it's like, oh, yeah, I understand, like he's a business owner and has more personal experience or whatever. But it's like for any argument that I make regarding tariffs or regarding government spending, it's like, I have like a plausible model that like economists can agree upon, and then I have like empirical evidence that supports this model holding true in reality. And it's just like usually Grid just doesn't. I'm picking on Grid because it is the last person I talk about this. But usually a lot of these people just don't have the same thing. They just got to have vibes, and it's like, okay.
Well, all I'm getting at is that you're doing something that I do in some fields, right? I'm not an expert on everything. Flow states, Powdered Dusty specifically says I'm AI. And all it is that I've read encyclopedias, and I have a high level of memory retention. Nerd. Even if I apply it to anything, I'm a total nerd. That's true, right? But I see a commonality between me and you. The difference is you went on to specialize in the nerdy part of what you like to nerd out about. I got huge thumbs up for it. I love it. But that nerdy part that you like to nerd out about also has an applicable side that has like people who have years of experience doing exactly the thing that you've read about, that you've studied, that you've looked at the data and you've thought about, right? And discounting these people's conversations or their talking points just on the basis of being an oppositional, idealistic, I could accept it. But just trying to lay it down as if you're smarter than they are, that's kind of weird, dude. I mean, they know different stuff.
So again, I totally agree with you. Like I've talked to like 3 or 4 different business owners about tariffs, and I'll say, I guarantee you they are way better business owners than I am. Like they probably know more about a lot of like microeconomics than I do. But there's plenty of business owners where I've asked them, what are the 4 components of GDP, which is a question any high school econ student can answer, and they don't know the 4 components of GDP. And it's like, well, clearly, like on some of this stuff, like I just know more than you, buddy. And again, like I can present to you.
Non-fun, you're asking like a test question. I mean, some might say, but like just on the spot right here, I can ask you a specialized question too. Like, what does the Baltic Dry Index tell you?
Well, I don't know, but it's not necessarily related to whatever
So,
we're talking about. What
dry
GDP?
goods,
Knowing the
I use it
quoted
to tell how the
GDP
economy's
is
doing.
a decent indicator of how much macroeconomics you know. Like that is an okay indicator.
What the fuck is the Baltic whatever index? Grumpo
The
is
Baltic
still
Dry
in.
Index.
What the fuck is that?
If you look up Fred charts, it's one of them.
So,
I use that as a
Baltic
really
index
good
is a
indicator
fucking Fred
for
chart. Okay.
for how good the economy is doing. Honestly,
Yeah,
I'll
sorry,
look
just
both
to
of those up.
interject real
Gentlemen,
quick.
I'm just gonna go step away and make a sandwich. Can we all get along?
I actually have to go too. Baby's
Okay.
calling. That's my time. I appreciate the time. See you guys later. And,
Hey Mo, can you put your link backstage? I want to subscribe.
I actually don't have anything right now.
Good
This is my
evening,
first kind of
everyone.
foray
How
into
We're
debate.
popping his cherry.
Yeah, this is my first
Yeah,
little foray
link it
into
anyway.
debate,
Like,
tomato discussion. I've
Email
thoroughly
me
enjoyed
when
it.
Squatch
I
and me anyway.
appreciate
You're
the
gonna
time.
like talk to you again at some point.
Yeah,
Email
definitely.
me.
I'll definitely be on. I'll see you guys
Nice.
around. Definitely. Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks, Mo.
Keep it
I want
sexy,
to
brother,
cuddle
man.
with your beard.
I mean, you got a great pipe like that. You're either a hobbit or like something
Dude,
cool.
he's based as hell. That's all I know. That pipe
I'm
is
gentlemen.
See
I'm
the
just
beard?
gonna go step away for just a second. Flo's in charge while I'm away. Just
Powder Dusty. Vengeance and Dusty.
don't yell over each other. Just give me like 3 minutes. I'm really hungry.
I'm
now.
gonna yodel for 3 minutes straight.
Oh, I'm accepting of that.
I got a question for Effigy. Are they done auditing all the departments yet?
Well, since he's about to leave, I would have to assume that the work that they're trying to do is going to be over. I'm sure they'll try to do more.
So is it impossible that somebody else?
But I
would
mean,
take
it's
over
at this
the
point, who knows,
EVs?
right? Because it's constantly been shifting goalposts.
I know, but
The
I'm
number
just
they were going to cut has shifted. The time when they were going to do it has shifted.
I'm not going down into that yet.
And I would also argue that you can't really call them audits, can you? Because we had auditors in the government. They were called inspector generals.
Yep. I'm just going down
We
a
have
line here with
hundreds
you.
of suits and nothing's going on with them.
So, from an experience in the situation, I'm going to kind of lead in. So have they looked at Medicare, Medicaid yet?
Have they looked at it yet? I'm sure they've been
Doge.
looking at it constantly. I mean, have they
And-
acted on it yet? No. 'Cause
Okay.
I think they know what that would entail.
Now, do you know what Medicare's claim processing philosophy is?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Okay. Medicare's claim philosophy is process first, pay first, audit it back later. So they have up to 7 years to audit a claim and correct their mess up. And in the situation, they've already shelled out thousands of dollars to doctors in the situation. So now, in the terms, rather than having a actual efficient system, they will go ahead and process and pay claims out completely. And then when they find the error, they don't just correct it one time. Usually in this situation, they will end up doing 6 or 7 actual adjustments to it to try to get it to correctly process.
So where did you get for Medicare from? Their it sounds like a
that's
mission.
a line item. Then it's like a one bucket. What the fuck is the point of that?
I don't.
It's leading into the efficiency of this. So I'm going down a situation where Duck, you had
So like
asked
business
about,
process optimization or something.
Wait, I'm
but
sorry,
you asked about
real quick. Is that thing that you said represents Medicare? Can we find that on their site or something?
Dusty, you're
that is
muted.
not something that is on their site. I work.
That's good because I was talking shit.
I worked with Medicare in this situation.
It's just the only thing worth
so-
So
talking.
So do you
and
have
this-
like,
So you have payment. So you have payment codes or something where you handle the some part process of patients and providers submitting claims, and so if somewhere within the software human interface you work within that, and you have a set of metrics and SLAs and timeframes, and you're either like a contractor or you're part of, you're somewhere in the ecosystem doing that thing.
I work.
Don't get into too much detail. Don't dox.
Yeah, I'm not getting into exactly, and that's partially why I'm not on
What's your
camera.
mother's maiden name?
Maiden
What's your
name?
first dog's name?
Oh, I'm not
Yeah.
getting into any of that. I'm not going to
What's
share
your
any
high
of that.
school mascot?
It's not relevant, Dusty.
The Knight. Okay,
Sorry.
there you go. But no, in the situation that is a situation that ultimately, I'm just pointing it out as, you know, if they haven't gone there, I can tell you from the actual experience of working with that in the situation, it is ultimately a point that there's going to be a huge amount that can grow into that, and how much we cut because of their process. And then the fact that they work with the federal employee actual insurance, and then Medicaid, and the fact that there are states that actually, and this is a get into a situation where actual all aliens, so either legal or illegal, are allowed to be on Medicaid completely. And that it is a situation that it is drawing on those funds that are kind of, unfortunately, not able to be given in other aspects.
So I understand this, but I just don't understand as someone who has 10 years in working at tech companies founded by like Google and other companies. Like, what I don't totally understand is, why is the inefficiency here? Like, why isn't this like a management problem? That's another complete way to describe the problem you're talking about, versus blanketing and saying this is a Medicare problem.
Oh, it's
So I
not just
checked.
Medicare.
Undocumented immigrants are not allowed to get federal Medicaid money. If they do get it, it is
Yeah.
from state money.
Yep,
It is
which-
illegal for illegal immigrants to get federally
Check
funded
Minnesota.
Medicaid money.
It's
all state
illegal to
programs
rob
that do
from
that.
grocery stores, but it still happens, right?
So, Drake,
even though it's illegal, we're pretty sure it's going on because at the state level,
Well, no, I
people
just
are
I
getting
just
IDs
showed
they
you that
shouldn't
the
have
state
them.
programs are the ones that choose to do that. So saying it's the
Right,
federal government
and they
that
get
does
their
it.
money from the federal government. Right?
Not
It all
for
goes.
the-
So I believe his main criticism here is that all the money goes into one bucket, and then it's not lined out for specific things, and each department is given a budget. They just all suck out of the bucket like a sieve. So we don't know where the money's going and what's happening with most of it. Is that your main criticism,
Yes,
Dragon?
no, so some illegal immigrants get Medi-Cal, which is California's like
I
version of
didn't say
Medicare.
Medi-Cal.
I don't think
I
they get.
said Medicaid. Medicaid.
I'm fairly certain that they don't. Like, if
Check
you can send me-
Minnesota.
I just.
If I look
just
up Minnesota, it's going to also
What
have
they
their
call
own
it in one
state level
state
version
versus
of
what they call
Medicare
it
that
in another state
that's
isn't
state
important.
money.
I believe it's every single state that Medicaid is the single biggest line item where the state government has spend. I'd be great
There's
to know
actually
that's
three
not the case anymore.
programs that exist in terms of Medicaid. So there is the state-funded ones, there is the federal funded one, and then there is one that splits between the state and the federal government, and that's called MSHO.
Okay,
So
but
in
do you know the
terms-
main?
California,
Do you know the
Illinois,
main
Minnesota,
reason
New
why?
York, Oregon,
Do you
and
know the main
Washington
reason
offer
why they
any
go
kind of
why federal and state
version of
programs
that to
exist?
undocumented
It's
immigrants.
because one
Wait,
of them
hold on.
is
I looked up
was
this thing with
targeted.
Minnesota, by the way. The first line of this article.
Hold on.
This is the first
All
year
of you
Minnesota
are
is providing
perfectly rational
undocumented
people
workers with
until
the state
Medicare
health
matters.
insurance known as Minnesota Care. So
Yeah,
Minnesota Care. But here's the thing, and I'm going to just say this in the terms of it, okay? As I do work in the insurance side of it, I am somebody that has access
Not
to
your insurance.
I'm not saying which company I work for. In this situation, I have access to literally everybody from the top of the government all the way to the lowest person on the actual Medicaid system. I have access to everything. I can tell you right now, it is not just a situation that the illegal aliens are only on the state ones. It is not the case.
Thank you.
So the report there, no. It is a situation that they're granted to have access to it. And the funds do come and they are split from the state and from the federal. It is one of those situations, but I'm looking at and explaining there are so many inefficiencies that exist between the actual insurance for Medicare and how they process, as well as the VA. The VA is so inefficient when it comes
Okay,
to
you're
situations.
not at the VA. So I just want to point something out. This is why we don't take personal experience Like,
I'm not pointing out personal experience.
No, this is valid. This is witness testimony. This is the best sort of testimony you can get in court.
And like you're basically stolen valor, dude. Like at this point, you can't reference your own experience anymore.
Shut the fuck up,
You don't even-
Furby.
Yeah, you
Stolen
can-
valor.
Furby.
No, I'm not even going down that.
Melanie
path.
just said the smartest thing that's been said in the last like fucking 3.5 hours. So
You have to be
probably
kidding.
kicked again.
No, Duck, you're stolen valor now.
I
GG.
went down a line of
Yeah,
asking
quite
which
a bit actually.
departments have been audited. I've done all the research I can to find out what has been gone through in those. Now, yes, I agree 100%. As it stands, Effigy right now, yeah, it looks like it's a little bit more partisan than not. But in the situation, it's also only 100 days. I do agree with Powder Dusty, even though he kicked me twice today. In the situation that
No,
is,
only one.
no, you paid twice. You paid for
I
me,
haven't
and
paid
then you
at all.
selected.
Oh, baby.
It's a good point, Dragon Rage. It has only been 100 days, and in that extremely short amount of time, he's already knocked himself up one of the largest stock market drops, like one of the top 10 percentage-wise stock market drops in history. He's
stock
already
market is not the
basically
economy
affected
of
world
theirs.
politics so much that like every conservative around everywhere, like Canada, their conservatives just got beat the shit out of today. Like, yeah. Only 100 days. But you can do
Yeah,
a
the
lot in 100
conservatives
days.
got
And
the
we've got
shit
plenty
kicked out
enough
of them
example of
because
what
they
Doge has
quit
been doing
preaching the
to think that.
message.
And look, I'll
They
agree with you.
started going with
Medicare, Medicaid,
anti-Trump.
all this
That's
stuff.
why they got
There's
work.
definitely, Dr. Grumpy, shut up. I'm talking. There's definitely inefficiency. We agree that there's definitely things that we can fix. But the thing is, you guys constantly using that argument and then we seeing what you're actually doing. Like, I don't buy those things anymore. You can't just sit there and be like, well, these things are inefficient. Therefore, we get carte blanche to go over
Well,
here
living
and
and
quote
learning.
unquote fix shit. And it's never what you said. You just
But
get in
now-
there and be like, well, let's fucking kick the liberals in the dick and try to dismantle federal government instead of actually making things work better. You just want to fucking blow it up.
Now, what I'm going to point out is the situation. I'm not 100% for Doge. I kind of am hopeful that it does do what it's supposed to do by them continuing on. But in the terms of the situation, in terms of the liberal Democratic side, they never try to trim fat. They try to add fat, unfortunately. They literally try to add fat into it. As working in the insurance, I've seen that grow through the roof in the situation. The amount of things that are required to jump through, additional things that want to be covered, every single thing. I've even seen where the whole situation of the Biden actual policy on the insulin, where it has now created an area where the actual pharmacies are refusing to work with Medicare in situations that doctors are refusing it because of the contracting that they are putting things through. It is so horrible in those situations.
I don't know why you think we have to sit here and listen to this Dragon Rage. I don't know why we have to sit here and listen to just completely baseless subjective
Doc, I've listened to you
accusations.
so many things that you've
I
said,
know, that's
and I've
because I'm great
respected.
to listen to.
Hey, can you
I'm
provide a
entertaining.
base for your claim that they're baseless?
And if you
So
you're making a baseless
minutia of it
claim?
all day, but like people
Could
getting
you make a
life-saving
base
medicine,
claim,
they have
though?
to
Democrats
literally keep on
add
living day to
fat.
day.
I can
it's
look
worth
at
it,
every
right?
single Keynesian fucking thing that's happened in history if I want a claim that Democrats do better working on the demand side and building the social safety net instead of putting guns into everyone's hands.
But I'm going to point.
Does that mean nothing?
But I'm pointing in a situation. How many people wanted Medicare for all?
People who don't know what that would mean want that.
People that wanted that the safety of knowing they could and sort of have to have insurance, and also that don't get sick that often, where there's plenty of exchange programs that are suitable for solving for both human well-being that naturally arises as well as the insurance component. There's lots of
I want a
reasons
boat.
that
That's just word
we are
salad,
doing
bro.
well with a market for health insurance in the United States when it wasn't viable to transition an entire healthcare system over to a single payer model.
I want a boat.
I think the Medicare for all
I
thing
agree
just
with the
depends on
last
how you
statement.
pull it. But generally, it seems like Americans are mostly in favor of some type of universal health care. I think it's that.
I'm in favor of me having a boat. Can you work on that?
And this is my point. in the
I want to
situation.
vote for Powdered Grumpy having a boat also.
Yes. But it's a situation that, in the terms of like the state of Minnesota, they added more onto it for
Just heard the
actually
accent.
drawing.
Votes are a human right.
Yes, and in the
Well,
situation,
even if you don't think healthcare is the right or whatever, you can still say it's a net benefit to have a state health insurance company or whatever.
Votes are
Like
more
the same
important.
thing.
No,
And
it's because
Not
state
convinced.
health insurance
Look
is
at
very
Kanakistan.
inefficient. The biggest
Come on.
problem we have with the healthcare system is there's too many regulations they've put in place that prevent insurance companies, that prevent private businessmen from interacting with the healthcare system itself, right? If you want to go out right now and say, start a business, working for the hospital, taking people home from the hospital after a day visit, whatever, you can't do it. You can't do it. You pretty much have to have an ambulance. You have to have a paramedic. You have to have a bunch of meds. You have to have an EED in the car. Is it like you just can't give somebody a ride home? You can't have a business just doing that.
Number one, there are probably pretty good reasons to have regulations generally around the healthcare industry. Like
somebody got a wart removed.
There tend to be a lot of market failures in the healthcare industry, and it probably makes sense to try to regulate to
There's
address
a
a lot of regulations.
Practice.
I think you're aggrandizing a lot of the healthcare problems in that I mean, why can't we get to a point where we have more like what's it called? Like more preventative care and stuff. Like
that would be great.
Agreed.
That's the attempt, but it's a situation that's on the actual individual people to go and get that done. How many people have it?
You're just saying, wouldn't it be great if we had less problems? Sure, that'd be good.
So preventative care is only as good as the people actually going to do it.
Can I answer?
Well, people don't want to get preventative care because it's expensive. It's the issue.
Yeah, the problem with the preventative care is you kind of have to mandate people to exercise. And nobody's going to be down with the government showing up and say, if you don't do 10 jumping jacks
that would be
once
racist.
an hour,
you could just make it cheaper.
Yeah.
People would do preventative care more often if it was cheaper. People do preventative care more often.
The
in other
number one
countries.
preventative care is
if you took zero effort, they would be into it.
They're including it in insurance now. You get discounts on your insurance the more preventative wellness you do, right?
Yes, that is in situations. Some of them will do that, but not all of them do it. You got the difference between for-profit, not-for-profit, non-profit, and then you got the state ones as well. So there's various different levels of what they're able to do. But the regulatory bodies on just Medicare alone is absolutely through the roof. You have to spend a week literally reading the new Medicare guidelines just to get a grasp of it. And it's always changing, literally month to month, and they are never
why doctors'
consistent.
offices have to have
all this stuff is based on litigation, right? Whenever you have regulations,
I didn't hear who
Medicaid filings.
I didn't hear who brought it up that the insurance companies are offering discounts on your premiums for wellness stuff, preventative care stuff. But whoever did that, do you or does anybody else have participation rate of that? Because I would imagine that there's not very much.
No, and
but then that's going to be a fraction of a fraction, like the ones that do, because it's not all healthcare providers and then across the board are doing it, and then not all the policies from those providers are doing it. Then of the ones that are there doing it, what kind of participation rate do we have? I'd be really interested in that. Not like a gotcha or anything. I really would be.
Yeah, and
I just haven't because I know it's a thing, but it didn't occur for this conversation.
And it's typically in the situations of the self-insured policies, if they are doing it from employers versus fully funded ones, where the provider, so the employer is allowed to go ahead and say, yep, if you have X number of these for the family, and they're actually showing this, and they reported it with their doctor, and we get that information, yep, we're going to reduce what they are paying. But it doesn't really affect what the insurance is actually charging for the premium. It just changes what the actual employer is paying in the situation. And so that's where the differential is there. And so their models typically are 2 to 3 years behind. So when new government regulatory things act, it is now pulling funds that are going now that were set from 2 or 3 years ago. And so it causes a lot of businesses in that situations to have to dip into those funds a lot sooner, especially when you start adding a lot of more legislative stuff. I'm just pointing out, and not trying to get into the weeds farther into this. I'm just pointing out, in terms of that whole debate where they're explaining, well, they're not on track for $1 trillion or whatever. In terms of the insurance side, just between Medicare, Medicaid, and the actual VA, I can tell you right now, it would be quite up there in terms of how much they would actually be saving once they start trimming a little bit of fat there. And the other part,
Dragon Rage, but my fear is if you start and end with just this conspiracy theory bullshit instead of telling the actual story of how it happened, you're just going to get more inefficiencies. That's always the case. Like it's
what is
never a
conspiracy
better
theory
option.
bullshit?
Yeah, that's my question.
That there's
What's
some,
the conspiracy theory part?
that there's some fucking person that is this much of a dipshit in fucking Congress or whatever it is.
That's
and he's
not
like,
at
oh,
all
I'm gonna go
what was
fucking
said.
Jack
Person
Price.
is
Not
just
even
a little bit of a dipshit, and
I mean,
then
it might be
all
Maxine
300
Waters,
of them
but-
to get together and create a big dipshit.
Yeah. You were, I don't know who you were listening to, but it wasn't who was talking, Duck.
I wasn't making a conspiracy. There's a lot of inefficiencies, and like I said, just working with Medicare, their exact philosophy is this: flat out, pay the claim first, audit it later. That they have 7 years to correct it, and the VA has 15 years as their actual filing limit. 7 years for Medicare to audit and correct their screw up in terms of a claim, and 15 years for their
Nice hack.
federal employee. Thank you.
But how did
Official
that get
business
there?
records
How
aren't
did that get there?
like
Why is that there?
record keeping.
Makes no
That's like past normal record keeping for financial records for tax purposes. To where then like
they're normally 5 years, I think.
Yes.
Well,
And so
7 for personal income tax. Business is different, but you get like what 7 years when they start looking into it, like when they might start looking at, hey, you know, maybe we're going to audit. Then when they finally decide to audit,
and
no records, guys.
Not
We can all agree, I think, that it's massively inefficient. But what are they going to do with the saved funds? Like that would be my concern. Which, okay, you're saving money now. What?
I would say.
Oh no, we know that answer. We know that answer because the Medicaid cuts are not coming from Doge. That's been the ridiculous part of this whole conversation. We know the Medicaid cuts are part of the bills to give the $4.5 trillion tax cut, and we know
we're talking
going to
about
cut
Doge,
from
right?
Medicaid because they're but which is funny while you guys are talking about Medicaid cuts because Doge isn't even going to do anything about that. We know that Congress is going to.
But what about the other things that they're dealing with?
So far, they've just got the low hanging fruit.
Well,
that's all they've hit.
Yeah, I almost
There's
say
people who obviously refuse certain, like turn in your weekly thing or quit spending money. They just grabbed the low hanging fruit and they're running out the suits, right? Because obviously the people who are getting the funds taken away from them are going to sue. So now they have to work through the courts to see what they can and can't do, and then they can really go to work.
But Doge has never, as far as, and this is sort of a question and a statement, Doge has never stated and is under no obligation to do anything with this recouped money, right? Like they're just going to figure that out later.
I think it goes back.
I don't know.
into
Actually, I
the
think
No, they don't
budget in
do
general.
anything with it.
This
And
is
they
the
don't
biggest
even
joke
make
of the
the
whole
cuts.
thing
They
is
make
that no one
recommendations as far
realizes
as I
that
understand.
all of
Just
this
even
is
a
just for that tax
recommendation.
cut.
disputed, but
Every bit of it, all of your wants and your talks about savings and having to get rid of all this fraud, it's going to be wiped completely away with that tax cut, and you guys are going to be left being like, "Whoa."
Good. I would love that. That would be
Hey,
actually a fantastic use of it. The money is to give it back to the people instead of grow the government bigger.
There's not
see,
consistency there, Dusty. That's the
This
problem.
is,
How is
this
there
is a
not-
general argument about
It's
tax
not like
cuts
they're
not
saving
working.
enough to-
Okay, because
And the reason it is because they
where is
don't
this
lower
deficiency coming
spending
from?
after the tax
It doesn't
cuts.
make any sense.
So we're working on lowering the spending now and then doing the tax cuts.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And that will
they're not
put more money in everybody's pocket and save the government money. Right?
They're lowering
Cut the
spending and
then cut the taxes,
they're
put it back into the market grows.
Do they
are
know that?
lowering spending. They're cutting things and they're cutting both taxes and spending. It's just that they're cutting taxes a lot more than they're cutting spending.
I mean, as if they're cutting taxes with the spending, then I'm totally down with it.
Well, no. The whole issue
the
is that
hardest part is
they're doing like 3 trillion in tax cuts and only like 1 trillion in spending cuts. That's kind of the whole.
I'm still actually okay
whole
with
issue.
that.
I'm good
yeah,
with
and
it because
as more budgets come forward, we can take more money out of the budgets. We
Cool,
got
then I
3
guess
more years to
deficits
do that.
and debts don't matter.
How much money do you think Doge is going to save from waste, fraud, and abuse? Do you really think there's that much that we could have a
Okay, how about this? How much
Hold on,
does
let me
Doge
answer the
actually have in
question.
common with fucking
Let me answer the
any of
question.
these?
Let me answer the question, Duck. I think that there is a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse, and I also think there's even more unnecessary dead weight that we could get rid of.
Well, I can understand. So when I say waste, fraud, and abuse, I mean basically spending that like for example, you might view Social Security as a wasteful program overall, but that's money that's been allocated by Congress for that purpose, and Doge has no authority to cut that. My question is money that
I think
is
there's
actually
a lot of
what they can do is what they did is point out that hey, you got 200-year-old people that are taking Social Security money, like
No,
getting a
that
draw.
was
right?
mostly a lie. That was mostly a lie, Grumple.
Nobody was ever supposed to get
So
any
if it
money
was
from
mostly a
Social
lie, that
Security.
means there was some part that was true, right?
This is what's so funny is that the reason we know it's mostly a lie is because the Inspector General actually does a much better job than Doge in pointing out how many dead people are actually on Social Security.
Oh, citation
So
needed.
the reason there's a lot of like people that are quote unquote or dead or whatever super old on Social Security is mostly because like the electronic death records of them hasn't been updated. Now, I think like past 115 years of age or whatever, I think they don't give payments out anymore. And the Inspector General has found that like there are plausibly a few thousand people who are still receiving payments who are likely dead, and it's just their family collecting them. But the issue is, and this is what's great about the Inspector Generals, is they actually
just hand wave it. Oh, it's just their family still collecting on the dead people. That's still fraud.
I'm just describing to you the type of fraud that happens in that case. It's usually just a family collecting the money still. Like I don't mean to say that's a good thing. I think that's a bad thing. But okay. to update these records, it would cost more money than just paying out these payments to the dead people or whatever. So the Inspector General actually knows what the fuck they're doing and runs the cost benefit analysis. And
what you're saying is updating the system so it's not running on like I'm not sure, but I'm using this as an example, but like running on COBOL.
My point here is
updating
that Doge lied about the number. Doge lied about the number of dead people on Social Security, and the reason we know they lied is because we already have an office in charge of auditing Social Security, and they did a better job than Doge. That's my point here.
It is ironic that Doge is helping redundancy.
Hell yeah.
Well, didn't somebody else, I forget who, point out that there was like 20 years of the OIG not pointing out, oh hey, this thing's bad. And then Doge said, "Oh wait, yeah, look at this
making random accusations. He doesn't actually really have much."
Well, just you're biased against Grid, so I understand that. That's fine.
Really quick,
stupid Joe. Silly Grid.
Yeah, and he was talking about USAID.
Businesses employing people. Get out of here with that nonsense, right?
Which, by the
I'm still waiting on the answer on who all on the panel is a communist avowed.
I already answered you.
The Furby is
I was
not
a
currently on,
communist
but that's one.
socialist in my first 2 years of college. I believed in communism and socialism because old people did a shitty job explaining how a democracy is supposed to work.
Not
how a
coming
market
by
is
anyway.
supposed to work.
I just want to come by really quick.
Hi, Daniel.
Good evening,
hi,
Daniel.
Sarah. Hey, Grumple.
Dude, nunchucks, flirt boy.
I could. I could make the birthday a little special.
We know you can. I want to see it.
He's just here to flirt with Sarah. Go ahead.
Well, I can't stay long. I just wanted to wish you 3 things. Congrats on hitting the 8,000. That's huge. Congrats, Sarah. And getting monetized.
Huge.
And, of course, happy birthday.
Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that.
You're welcome, Sarah. And I got a little fancy for you. Got this
I
on,
know.
so
You look
it's
like
not the Ranger stuff, but
yeah, you look like you're ready to either go to the disco or go to
Bingo night.
sword fighting.
Either or.
Don't tempt me like that. Do not tempt me that way, Sarah. I'm drinking. I will say those things you don't want me to say.
Say the weird thing.
What, in somebody's mouth?
For sure. I'll do some quick birthday nunchucks because why not?
Fuck yeah.
Birthday Daniel's actually got nunchucks.
It's always time for nunchucks.
Exactly. That's what I've been saying the whole time.
Wait, are you on a phone? Are you on a phone right now? Oh, he can't hear.
Doesn't matter. He's got skills.
Michelangelo over here. Look, here we go.
No, sir. This is the Ranger.
This
is Will Ferrell. Power Ranger.
You guys remember that Chuck Norris movie Sidekicks?
I do.
Doing two at once is it's like exponentially harder.
That's a total flex, and I see it. And he has it. Had the ambulance called what?
Yeah. Oh, roundhouse kick.
He did the sidekicks thing.
There we go.
He finished it with a roundhouse.
I've came thrice so far.
I'm just saying he's the coolest person here today.
On aisle drum.
No.
I love it. I love it.
That's the coolest guy here.
You'd be mistaken, and then you would feel like a douche because he would put you on your ass.
Or not me. I'd shoot him 3 times.
2 World Wars.
Like pop. Those are some real nice skills, buddy.
Because I know Sasquatch carries a 45, just 2 World Wars.
Yeah, we put them down, sir.
And just for the record, ladies and gentlemen,
That was impressive, Daniel.
Joe Cool is simmering backstage, waiting to pop on. You know what to do.
I'm gonna head off, but Sarah, thanks for having me, and I'll be in the chat. So, but just wanted to come and wish you a happy birthday, personally. So.
Thank you. I appreciate
that was beautiful, brother.
Sarah, I'm
That's
also
amazing.
taking off. But thanks for having me. I might pop on mobile or something in a bit.
Keep it sexy.
Keep it sexy. All right. Bye, Daniel. And bye, Ducky.
Hey, Joe Cool. How's your wife and my kids, brother?
You got to do something about that. Okay?
Oh.
You going to have to deal with them, son. I'm not doing it.
Take my old lady too.
No, sir. That's your problem.
Oh, Lord.
They're all my problem.
You're right. I'm sending them all to you.
I'm good at handling problems.
I can't handle it. You need to take my old lady then.
Take my wife, please.
Hide your children. Hide your wives.
They raping everybody out here.
In Lincoln Park, even.
Children,
Chester
honey,
would be so sad.
It's hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your kids, hide your wife. I've heard the same song. I know what you're talking about. Children don't fit.
Oh, shut up.
Oh, if you remember, like, hide your kids, hide your. There's a rapist in Lincoln Park, but
that's right.
It was that's the name of the location.
Yes, sir.
Lincoln Park, it's a place in multiple states too.
Bag it up, bag it up, bag it up, bag it up.
Again, rest in peace, Chester.
That's not Lincoln Park.
Lincoln Park died. It might be one of the.
I mean, we all see it coming though, right? Like, nobody's surprised that the Lincoln Park guy did that because anybody who listened to his music should have seen that coming.
Oh yes. What about Chris Cornell?
Was I say? I mean, less so than like people in the grunge era, right? Like Linkin Park.
Courtney Love
killed
Chris Cornell.
You wait, what?
Kurt Cobain?
No.
You're thinking of Kurt Cobain, dude.
You heard me.
Cobain, yeah.
Billy
Hang
Corgan
on.
killed Kurt Cobain. Courtney Love killed.
She got 2 for
That's
Dave Grohl is behind it all.
They were
Dave
shooting
Grohl.
heroin
There's some conspiracy theories here that I haven't heard before.
Dusty has a point here.
Dave Grohl
Really,
did
you
it.
never heard that, Grumble?
People who are involved in his music, like the things that the bands he associated with, and go do a nice little count off on how many people might have accidentally not undeleted themselves.
And look at how his career has skyrocketed, and how he's presented in the media. He is the all-American rock star. Everybody can love Dave Grohl, but his music is way worse than Nirvana's was.
Oh, that's debatable by people who
I think like
wanted
any
to put
band,
that
they have
guy.
their hits and then they
Taste.
have a bunch of garbage.
I think Dave's more
even to this day, Dave
commercial
Grohl
than
doesn't
fucking
know
Nirvana was.
chords
Yeah,
on
it's
guitar.
become a lot more commercial.
Dave Grohl on guitar knowed how to mute the strings he wasn't playing, though, unlike Kurt Cobain, which is a differentiation point that needs to be made. However, it was part of the sound, but
hey, hold on now. Like,
he actually knew how to.
The sound says grumble. It was that was the sound. It was grunge, dude. It was a bunch of really sloppy licks put together in a garage. That was the whole point. In the rain.
I mean,
It was not quite the edge of funk, right?
Eddie
Vedder could mute the strings he wasn't playing.
I'm
As did most
sure.
string players.
And if you wanted a skilled
Pearl Jam, by the way.
guitarist, you wouldn't be listening to Nirvana.
Yeah, so you don't like grunge, is what you're saying.
Well, no. I mean, wasn't Pearl Jam grunge?
It's all good.
Wasn't REM kind of technically grunge?
No.
Grunge was Seattle bound, so it was based around the bands that came out of Seattle at the time.
I mean, Pearl Jam definitely was
hard.
grunge.
I mean, sort of the way Everclear was grunge.
We've
Yeah,
got.
two grunge crews.
Hold on. I've got to do a voice.
Will you be on tomorrow?
Hello.
Or will
Hello.
Donald be on?
Hello. Poacher
Hello?
fan.
You want to talk to
Donde.
Mark?
El Mundo.
Hello.
No importa que quisiera, no
No
me keep
say.
on.
You're muted, dude. Unmute, dude.
De donde está el baño?
The baño.
Flómense la
A
Poacher fan.
lot of the white Spanish in here out of
All
us.
right, we'll move on. Right,
Dude,
we'll
I've
move
got
on to
something
EOD.
Hello, how are y'all doing? I heard you were talking about grunge and shit and people killing themselves, and y'all got all kinds of shit, all kinds of fucked up, man. It's screwed. Okay, Kurt Cobain was amazing. Chris Cornell was amazing. Chris Cornell's solo career was amazing. I encourage everybody to go and investigate that because I think that's why he killed himself. That shit did not get off the ground. It did not have any success. I'm pretty sure that's what did it to him. But Chester Bennington, the guy from Linkin Park,
was the heroine.
he was super depressed about Chris Cornell. He looked at that guy as a mentor, and him offering himself was too much for Chester to fucking take. That's why Chester Bennington killed himself. So there you go. Okay, great.
Did you just re-up on your powders?
What powders, man?
I don't know, the ones that got you running off at the mouth. I've been drinking for 4 hours and I can't quite keep up. Although I agree with everything you said.
I realize there's like 19 people in here. I'm just trying to get a word in edgewise.
There's only 10 and non-Fon's fixing to leave. So
True. Wait, weren't you the one yelling
Why
at
is
me in
there
chat
an
earlier, though,
echo?
EOD?
Does anybody else?
EOD.
Does anybody else hear that echo?
Oh,
I hear the dance hall reverb.
I heard
not
a
quite.
That's probably me. Hold on.
I think, yeah.
I stepped away for a minute. It sounded like some mad reverb.
Yeah, no, it was dance hall reverb, not quite an echo. I'm not sure how to explain that better.
Yeah, it was something.
Well, it was reverb.
Oh yeah, he's got it handled now.
Smoking indoors like a
Who changed my name?
That should be better. Did you guys understand what I said, or was it too much reverb?
Yeah.
No,
It
I
sounded
got
like a
you.
Charlie Brown teacher.
Definitely sounds better.
Kind of like a Charlie Brown teacher who was talking about proper music theory. But listen, I want to know, as a redhead, do
It
you
wasn't
have a
that
soul,
bad. It
or
wasn't
did
that
you
bad.
sell that early in life?
I'm not a redhead, actually. I just have greasy fucking hair right now because I haven't taken a shower today.
Wow, you need to get better grease, sir. That shit's red.
I think, yeah, I think that is.
It looks very red. It's not even auburn, dude.
Hi, I'm Sasquatch.
That's great.
We got news for you.
I wish I was a redhead, but I'm really not.
Was
Why
once
would you
upon a
wish
time
that?
before tonight, then tonight again you are. So do you have a soul or not? That's my question.
It's
Yeah,
like
what the fuck is a soul or
Schrodinger's ginger
not?
soul. Wait, not all redheads are gingers, though. There is a difference.
I'm not a fucking redhead, man. Ask my dog. He knows.
Here's
All
the
right,
real
we'll
question.
decide.
Oh,
Smash
that's wrong.
carpets.
How would your dog know?
Because he fucking lives with me.
No, the dog wouldn't live with him if he didn't have a soul. I agree, sir. You are not a redhead. Congratulations. Welcome to the panel.
Okay, great.
Actually, yeah, proof. T800s know, like they know T800s are not. people.
I was
Imagine
talking.
gingers.
I was talking about the grunge peoples, and you all got all that fucked up. But I don't know if that got through or not.
Oh, we
Because
got
of
it.
the
Wait,
echo.
was there
No, we heard
Kentucky
every word
grunge?
you said.
No, there wasn't a Kentucky grunge. Not really.
Oh.
There's been a lot of weird shit with bluegrass and people, claiming to play bluegrass and not really playing bluegrass. But you know a little bit about bluegrass, don't you, CaucSquatch?
What are they playing, really?
I do. What would you like to talk about? Bluegrass? Would you like to talk about Trampled by Turtles? We can go
Yeah,
down
for
that
sure.
road. How about some Dead South? I really like the Dead South there. Actually.
Dead South is okay. I got burnt out on them, man. There's too much of their shit just floating around. They're like mainstream. They're almost as bad as fucking Billy Strings, right?
Billy Strings is excellent.
I mean, they're great. Don't get me wrong, okay? I appreciate the music. I love what they do. Billy Strings and Dead South are both extremely talented groups, okay? But it's just they're always at the top of the cream of the crop, man. They're always at the cream of the crop.
Turtles is amazing.
Yeah,
That's true.
It's like the new
For the non-musicians and non-music aficionados, if y'all between the two of you, because I think like between the two of you, you could probably get it done. Explain what bluegrass is, other than the lack of drums, percussion.
No,
well, that's a big part of it. Go ahead.
It's a banjo.
It's a what?
You got a banjo instead of drums.
It's a banjo. It's more than a banjo. It's more than a banjo.
What?
It's usually a 5-piece. Okay, you have a bass, you have the banjo, you have a guitar strummer, mandolin player, and a singer. And
Well,
sometimes the singer.
If you want to play in Texas, you got to have a fiddle in the band.
Well,
Maybe
mandolin or fiddle, or both. Sometimes.
Or washboard, or one of those one-string basses with the wash tub. That'll
Well,
also
a washboard's percussion though, but yeah, I mean I agree.
Washboard.
You could have a washboard. Washboard is okay, but washboard's percussion. But mandolin and violin serve the same exact role. They actually have the same notes and the same
pretty much,
tuning.
yeah.
Well, mandolin's like they're double strings.
That's
They
true,
are.
but they're plucked
And
also.
they play them like a mariachi. Have you ever seen a mandolin player play? They're absolutely amazing. It's very much like a banjo after a fashion.
That's true. A lot of picking. Good, cool picking. That's
my poll is you're definitely Redhead is leading in the poll 90%. Just so you know.
All I can say is fuck you. I'm not a redhead.
It's not
okay?
over yet. You can.
Oh, yeah,
I don't think that's your decision.
All evidence to the contrary. Okay, bro, I'm with it, but
whatever.
have you
know what? If you can choose your gender, then you can choose your hair color.
Shout out to Marathon Kev sending in the big 5 for me and the kids. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Y'all remember to go just lurk everybody on the panel and slap that like button and subscribe if you haven't. I'm not
you
live.
can the like button if you'll touch my
Lowe's
button.
live. Sarah's live, obviously. Non-fun, are you? Because I had to redo my Chatterino.
Yeah.
Are you live right now?
I am
You
live.
are?
Yeah, I'm like.
Okay.
basically-
on.
What does your
It's
chat
like
think?
4
Am I a redhead or not?
I mean, I can pull them. I don't know how many are going to answer. my chat only likes the econ stuff. Okay, they
Bro,
don't,
if you're not redheaded, you're deep armored. Like deep armored.
It's
They
just
can't
dark
let it
because
down, bro.
I
They can't let it down.
I'm saying, right? I haven't got a lot of sun lately. It's actually blonde, but I'd have to
Lies.
show you
All
an old
lies.
picture to
Don't
show
look
you.
like redheads are
Look at
lying.
my fucking beard, okay? My beard is blonde.
Yeah, I'm
It
trying to look at
looks
his
as
beard.
red as the Weasleys from Harry Potter. That
Come on,
Yeah.
come on. You know what? You know what, Sarah?
Yeah.
Let's just say this for the lore of the channel. I dyed my hair red specifically for your birthday.
Okay.
It's actually
I want to
up
say
to
happy
90
birthday to
it's up
Sarah
to
for
94%.
Raging Tomato, and congratulations on 8,000 subs. Cheers.
Dude, I want you to put your link backstage so I can subscribe to your channel. Do you have a
Sarah,
channel? They do the channel thing.
you're growing fast, Sarah. I think last week I congratulated you on 4,000. You are killing it. And great birthday present. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
no, it's beautiful. I told you, I got you backstage for like 10 seconds, and I was like, look, all you really got to do is what you're doing. Just refine it a little bit, and you'll be great.
Did you just
with all
claim
the
credit
advice
for
you gave her.
Sarah's skills?
No.
Sasquatch?
No,
You
I
claim
told you,
credit for
I
her
think
growth?
what she's doing.
But he's lobbing in some advice right now so that when she continues to grow, he can say that he did it.
I don't care what she says. Fine.
Non-fun, are you only live on YouTube right now?
You know who else is going to claim credit for it is 10th Man.
Oh.
10th Man, 100%. 100%.
Claiming credit for it right now. Wait, let me check the chat.
I usually cut my hair really short too. I need to do that again. It's way too long. It's getting hot. It's
probably
you do.
Man, don't run away from your redhead nature. Be that ginger you were meant to be.
It's getting
Fuck souls.
hot
They're
in
overrated.
here, so take off all your souls.
See, look at Sarah. She doesn't have a soul either.
Oh my goodness.
Take my souls off. Sarah, you got any pets?
I have 2 dogs.
And she has to keep them chained up in the backyard because they hate her because she doesn't have a soul.
What the fuck? Ain't even right, man.
Oh. All right, let's get philosophical. You cats laying down on the job.
Philosophical. Let's do it. What would you prefer, existentialism or nihilism?
No, philosophically, what makes it bluegrass?
I'm a Protestant, so I'm not soulless. Go fuck yourself. You're soulless because you're an atheist,
I would
Powder.
like to know. We were talking about the government.
I'm an agnostic, sir. Excuse me.
Oh, excuse me.
We are actually opposite
What government
poles of
system?
agnostic.
All right, I'll wait.
I'm also the Pope of my
What
new
government
denomination
system?
that you're all invited to
All right,
join.
too soon.
You want to save 5% on your tithing, Bill?
The Doge
By
of
switching your insurance to
Catholicism.
Geico. Powder.
Look,
is that-
it's
is that-
it's a low involvement religion. We charge you half the price, and we only offer you half of the guilt.
Yeah,
What do circumcisions look like in that?
How
really?
is that a deal?
That one. I promised my Bobby I wouldn't involve myself with cults. You're on your own with this one.
You're already involved at
They
this
get
point.
done with grinders, so
Sir, I'm
No,
involved
Phil
in the
figured out
YouTube
the
channel.
tax deduction. Like, if you're a religion, you're tax exempt essentially. Like, that's the real scam. That or being
I'm also a minority.
Amish and Mennonites can just not participate in Social Security, but if you're a religion, if you can be the actual cult leader, yeah, you don't bother with taxes, personal income taxes, business like the
Whose
organization.
doggy is crying?
That's my dog. I'm sorry.
Probably yours, you soulless
Because
wench.
it's sad you don't have a soul.
Soulless.
It's because I put the headphones. It's because I put the headphones on and start talking to y'all. He suddenly wants all the damn attention. He did this to me the other night too.
That's the way they go.
Mine does
He's
it
trying
too.
to
His
get out the
name is
door.
Taylor.
While you're distracted, he's trying to run away. What
Do you guys ever
system of
wish you had
government would
souls,
you guys
or is it
think
like
would
you don't
work?
know what you're missing, so it doesn't matter?
Is that that's like a transformer without a spark, right? Just automatons or something.
Can I ask this government question, guys?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, get him.
Alright.
Serious stuff.
No, it ain't heavy. We were talking about
government
the
bluegrass?
government. I wonder what it would look like, what kind of systems you guys would set forth. What changes would you guys make? What do you see? What are we doing wrong?
Everything.
Oh, very first thing, change the Department of Defense, just name it to Department of War, and then that sets the tone for everything.
I love it.
That kind of justifies what it's been for the past 50 years.
Yeah.
Well, it used to be called the Department of War, right?
You know what's
In the
funny
beginning,
is
yeah.
just dropped some
Non-pawn
stuff
on top of his game right
everyone
there.
agreed with. I'm amazed by that. It was Grumple put it down. It was like, let's just change it to the Department of War. And everybody was like, yeah, that makes sense.
I feel like I missed that. Like they've been tricking me all these years. How did I miss that obvious one? I feel like I needed to hear that.
That's the way they do it, dude. That's the way they do it. Like the Inflation Reduction Act actually increased fucking inflation. Who would have thought that?
And gave Trump something to run on because it created taxes for
Assault
tips and on
weapons.
Social Security.
Oh, okay. Part 2 of that. Okay, so General Mattis, or Colonel Mattis,
Was he demoted?
I remember him being a colonel, dude.
Oh, you remember him being a
was
colonel. Okay. You're a
yeah,
Marine.
he
He's
was
a Marine.
he was
He's an old
legend.
Marine.
Yeah, I'm a Marine here. Colonel Mattis, General, yeah, he's a Marine. Sergeant Major Castle, another guy, fucking legend. Mattis should have been the Commandant of the Marine Corps. Sergeant Major Castle should have been the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps. Sergeant Major Castle has a fucking bronze statue built of him He's the guy who you've seen the picture. I guarantee you have. Two other guys carrying him. He's got a 1911 in his hand. He's still doing the mission. He's been shot how many times? His guys are bringing him somewhere so he can still be in the fight. That guy should have been Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, 100%. He should be SecDef next. Mattis was in for Trump's first term. Castle in his round 2. This is your Grumple TED Talk.
Whoever got the most money, they'll get the job.
Mattis did not do well, man. That
whole thing was I didn't agree with some of the stuff that Mattis was like as a civilian, but he's still like he just has cred. Like
I know, right? But,
also, he got out before he could get fired. He got out before he could get fired too. He resigned before Trump fired him.
Being in the Marine Corps is one thing. Being part of the administration is something else, man. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, he's quoted as like, you have a plan to kill everybody and carry the big stick and like all those things. That was all just solid leadership stuff for
he has the best quote.
A violent culture, that isn't necessarily.
Well, as they say, you can take the Marine out of the Corps, but you can't take the Corps out of the Marine, right?
Apparently, he didn't like being called Mad Dog either, which I was a little bit distraught when I learned that.
Disappointing.
He did not like being called Mad Dog. That's your everybody knows you, and that's his call. I never heard about this while I was active, but later on, his call sign Chaos. Colonel has an outstanding solution. I think CHAOS. That was his thing. That I didn't know what that when I was in. That's badass. Excuse me, sir. Hey, Chaos. We have
Dynamo says with a big 2. REM was alternative, FYI. And Snow
Definitely
with
not
big
grunge.
5 to say happy birthday, beautiful. Thank you,
It's not
Snow.
my birthday.
Oh no, Flo.
Just a heads up, I am getting a little pooped out, so I'll say maybe about 30 more minutes and then we'll shut down.
Okay.
Yeah, because these cats are talking about.
By the
And
way,
Flo, you're still live, right? We can continue the party over there if you want.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
I've still got half a pint left, bro. We ain't even crack up good yet.
I guess we're going.
You paid for the whole thing. That's you, bro.
I know.
Shit, I'll be
and it was like an hour ago. What are you doing going so slow on it?
It's a pint.
I know. It should have been a fifth. First of all, let's talk about drinking like an adult.
No. See, here's the thing. If I have a fifth, I'll drink a fifth, and it'll be the same amount of time that I drink the pint.
Now we're going to talk
Does
about people
anybody
who go
else
to
have
meetings
issues with
versus
people
not.
who will buy a 6-pack and have it in the fridge for 4 days? What the hell are they even doing? Why'd they buy it?
True.
And put it in the fridge. I mean,
Why did you just buy a 6-pack?
There's a reason.
Man, can you drop the StreamYard link backstage? I got somebody in chat might want to join.
Wait, CaucSquatch, are you live also?
Yes, I am
Oh,
the live.
Look, I'm not working you, sir. Let me jump over there.
I do things.
The way YouTube shows who's live is such bullshit.
Actually,
It's really hard to see.
you're
It is kinda
misunderstanding how YouTube does it. I know you're a Twitch streamer and that's your thing. YouTube decides what notification you get, who gets notifications from who, and when they get them. Most of my people actually get the notification 3 hours after I go live, which is an hour after I've gone offline.
Yeah.
And I get
I voted
I'll have
for
12 views, 13 views, and then I'll pick up 120 after I've quit.
I
That's
voted
the
for
big
in your CaucSquatch. or Grumpy CaucSquatch. I voted in your poll about the Hawk, the Hawk Tua coin was the best choice.
Hawk Tua coin, yeah, you like that?
Yeah, that was. It was in second place. I don't even understand. Wait, what is
So
your
I just
chat even
ended
doing,
my
dude?
poll. I just ended my poll, and you'll be happy to know that 97% said you're a redhead.
Well, 97% of the people who follow you are wrong. So
I got less people watching
also-
me, but my
so-
poll said 75%.
That's probably not
you're a
it.
redhead. So
Which y'all both had the wrong
If the whole
poll.
world smells like shit, you might want to check your lip.
Flo and Nonfon both. The poll should have been, do you think he's a ginger? Because that's like having red hair. You can dye your hair, but you can't dye a soul.
I swear.
Bro.
I have.
Right. I don't know. If
I
I
have
try-
can die.
I have
They
a
so
material
cute,
witness who's not present
Elliot.
right now that can testify to the color of my pubes.
So you
but
don't
they're-
actually
they are
have a
not
material
red.
witness.
They're
I
not
can
red.
tell it.
Drugs
I
don't
can
match
vouch
the
for the man. They're not
They're not-
red. I can vouch for the man.
Oh, there he goes. All right. Yeah, Grumpy Joe's been down there. He knows what's
I'm
going on.
here. I'm here.
I can go get I'll go get my material witness right now, and she'll
That
tell you
was
it's red.
wrong all the way.
Oh, man. I swear.
Yeah, ginger hair is like translucent, like
This is blonde hair that hasn't been exposed to the sun for like 6 months. Okay, that's all it is.
This is blonde hair that's been dyed red. Stop
No
lying.
chance
I don't
it's
dye
going
my
back
fucking
blonde.
hair. I
Did you,
swear I
like,
don't.
roll around in a
Say
bag of
brown.
I
flour?
Or
don't.
don't
Go
say
look at my
blonde.
channel. Okay, post my channel link. Go look at my channel. I have
I
washed
see what
hair
this
on
is.
there sometimes. You'll see. It's not.
He
it's
just
not
wants
looking
us
right.
to go to his channel.
Well, that's a
there.
bonus, you know. But
it's on Kick, or did you start doing YouTube?
yeah, I've been doing YouTube for a while.
Oh.
YouTube and Kick. I do YouTube, Kick, and Rumble. So
What's your content, man? What you do?
what kind of shit? Oh, a lot of politics, a little bit of video games. Sometimes I just troll around on Twitter. Sometimes I'm just joining the channel like this and just shooting the fucking shit, bro.
Video, mute your other StreamYard.
Also, I have I used to do a panel on every Friday, and like a bunch of veterans like Grumple here and a lot of veterans from Twitch would get together and we would just sit around and shoot the shit. A lot of those guys are still hanging around. So yeah, check us out. Especially if you like the vets, come check me out. Also, make McCarthyism great again. Fuck communism.
True.
Agreed.
Nice.
McCarthyism. You must be a Trumper, bro. That's that's Trump shit
yeah.
there, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Austin Murphy said on my chat said that's about as red as it gets.
Fuck you, Austin Murphy. It is not red. It is blonde that has not been exposed to the sun in a while. It just turns brown over time.
Somebody go to his channel.
Yeah, me too. My hair
You
turns
got
brown
some
over
fake
time.
lights in your house. Those
Yeah.
LED lights
Look,
make everything look weird.
Sarah can vouch for this. Okay, she's a blonde. I'm assuming you're natural blonde, Sarah. So over time, if you don't go out in the sun, it gets a little darker.
It turns red.
It doesn't.
I mean, yeah, the more sun you get, the lighter it becomes.
Well, for me, I don't know. If I don't get out in the sun enough, it goes dark. I don't know.
Maybe you're.
Sarah, have you ever
actually-
coped this hard about
maybe-
anything in your life?
No.
Shut
Maybe
the
you're
fuck up, bro.
actually a redhead. It's just your lack of sunlight that's causing you to, like, because it lightens the hair. It doesn't darken
Sunlight?
it.
Well, I'm not
Neutral
saying.
behavior is what you're saying.
It's gotta start dirty in order to get lighter.
Mm.
So
Ooh,
you are
dirty,
you're naturally a redhead. It's just some sun exposure.
So what you're
helps
saying is he's
bring it out.
naturally soulless, but he's dyed some soul in.
I swear to Bob, y'all, with this soullessness about gingers, that ain't even true. Okay.
All of
But
my
what the fuck
children are
ever.
born from redheads.
I'm sure you know.
You got
What's
that
the
shit from
matter?
South Park, bro. That is some bullshit
no.
Cartman bullshit
No,
right
that's
there.
No, I know plenty of redheads.
I mean-
They're soulless.
Sounds like
I
soulless
forgot
behavior
about
to me.
They are the most feisty, angry, wanting to just murder everything in the sight.
They're
Yeah.
passionate
Yep.
people. I mean, look, man, if you ever have the chance to lay with a redhead woman, definitely take it. I'll tell you that, okay?
Are you
Why you
offering?
say it like that? No, I'll take
Are
it.
you offering?
Call me.
Am I a woman, bro? Am I a fucking woman? I'm not a goddamn woman. Go fuck yourself.
I'm not
pretty sure
real
Dusty
picky.
doesn't
Just
have
call
hair.
me.
bondage.
We could fix that real quick.
yeah.
Problem.
These
We'll
days,
get-
we surely
Here,
can.
you'll be a woman in 2 minutes.
I'm not interested. Only a ginger would get it. Go fuck yourself, Nate. Okay, you look like a goddamn ginger. Okay,
Didn't we? We
Nate
could make him pretty,
probably
wouldn't
is a
we, dog?
ginger.
Wait, hang on. That's not Nate from? No.
No, I don't know who that is. I don't. I'm just talking shit. I don't mean anything by it, Nate. Okay,
Sarah, I'm good.
don't find me until my
Remember
dog is
the,
big
like,
enough to eat you.
The
Hey,
fire
can you
cast
show us what you
5
look
years
like
ago?
with bangs? Just push that hair forward.
No.
Give us some emo kid looks.
Come on.
Pull out
No.
a little strand from under.
I'm not
the
doing it.
thing.
In
The
fact,
dog is black. Does that mean it's human in its other form?
What kind of question is that?
It's not
Yes,
a dog.
I have
it's
a black
familiar.
dog. He's very black. He's
No,
black
that
as
means-
night. Like
Michael J. Fox.
this motherfucker will run off in the middle of the night and then he'll just disappear. I'm like, I can't even see him. I don't even know where he went. It's terrifying because I care about him. I want him to be okay.
You got to tell him to smile.
What, the dog?
Oh no, that's a thing. I don't remember. I made this recommendation a long time ago when I got little tiny dog as my first puppy ever.
That is not me. That is not me.
Oh God,
it's such bullshit.
I'm so glad y'all found this channel. I'm so glad. We found your channel, bro.
That's your shade, though, bro.
Oh, y'all are
kick
such
channel,
assholes.
I
I
think.
swear.
Wait,
Ow! Stop it. No.
Let me. How do I switch? Which person?
It's okay. You can leave me here.
No,
No,
I
fuck
want-
you, Powder. Fuck you.
Religion, the Church of
You
Dusty.
sacrilegious asshole. No.
No, I'm starting a religion. That's not sacrilegious. It's pro-religion.
yeah, but all your blessings are just going to bounce off the computer screen back on you. But you'll be getting
That's
holier
right.
every time you bless someone. Dominus
you.
Omnis, Dominus Omnis.
In the name of me and my son, bless you.
Oh, that's that's weird. I didn't know that. Like, I don't like having the panel like all on the right and then the content on. I don't like that. That's
Well,
weird. Yeah.
shut
'cause then
up.
let-
Now I want to hear the Trump
Sarah
fight
says,
from
I
you
like
too.
it. You shut your damn mouth.
okay,
Start your-
opinions and such.
Run your own show.
No, just I didn't even know that was an option of putting him over there. I've only used StreamYard like a couple times.
Oh my god, I have to
Oh
let
my
him
God.
know.
Yeah, this is the
Are
first time
you
like
crazy?
I gotta go.
Sends the big 10 and says, "Happy birthday, 8K. Smile again." Thank you. I love birthday streams. I should have a birthday stream once a week.
You should.
You do.
I know.
You
I'm
had one
continuing
last
on your
week.
birthday
What are we
stream.
talking about
It's the
here?
ultimate grift.
Sarah, some chicks that
You
I
can have a
happen
post.
to know
You
in
can have
real
a
life
post birthday.
have both a birth month and then a half birthday, where 6 months opposite, it's your half birthday, but then your birthday that month, it's the entire friggin' month, or 30-day period, 15
Every
out
chick.
on each way.
Every chick, yeah, at least 30 days. The women's at least 30 days.
Oh yeah,
They start 2 weeks
You start it
early.
off with
you
your
know.
birth
If you
month,
don't-
then you
If you
bring it
don't
down to your
start
birth
giving
fortnight.
things like before the birthday, then are you even celebrating my birthday?
That's
you know?
true. That's a good point.
Yeah. I mean,
Are
you know,
you celebrating my birthday?
yeah. You have
Okay.
to.
All right. I gotta let my dog out. So, Dusty, you're gonna be live in a minute, right?
I am
He-
live right
He's
now. I
gonna be
put the links
guys.
in back.
He's live now.
Okay.
So right now, Chris,
I put a link in the back chat.
CaucSquatch,
Okay.
Flow State or Powdered Grumpy or Powdered Dusty and Non-Fawn are live on YouTube right now,
Okay,
along with Sarah's Gauntlet.
Well, I will endeavor to come back and rejoin,
least.
but for now, I'm gonna leave and let my dog out and go to the store. So, cheers.
Who let the dog out?
Y'all
Who?
Happy birthday, Sarah. I hope it's been fucking amazing. So,
Thank you. I appreciate that, Ron Weasley.
all right. I'll see y'all in a minute.
It's been amazing.
Don't show your wand.
Got one in there.
I do have to. I have to leave as well, basically right now. So
Oh, good. You know
I
what?
will,
Let's go ahead and do this then. Why don't we go ahead and start doing our closing thoughts around the panel, and everybody can start heading over to Flo's panel. If you're not done, you wanna keep on partying, then you can continue my birthday grift over on Flo's side, and you can Cash App me during Flo's stream, so you can celebrate my birthday at Flo's show while Cash Apping me, I'll let Flo know whatever you're saying. Non-Fawn, kick it off, please.
sure, I'm Non-Fawn. I stream on Twitch and Kick on Non-Fawn420, Non-Fawn on YouTube. You should all go check out my YouTube channel and watch a bunch of debates I have uploaded there. Some of it's about Doge, a lot of it's about tariffs, a lot of it's about other econ stuff regarding Trump. And I'm goated. I'm a goated econ debater. Okay, and I will say, if Doge cared about this country, if Doge cared about government efficiency, what they would do is a sovereign wealth fund. They would tax resource rents and then invest that money in a sovereign wealth fund, like what Norway does. Google Norway sovereign wealth fund. It's really good. Doge would do that. I'll see you guys.
Bye, non-fun.
Oh, and happy
Thank
birthday,
you.
Sarah.
Thank you, non-fun. Grumpelstiltskin. Go ahead, my friend.
Actually, before Nonfon leaves, I want to agree with him hard on if that's one kind of interference that federal government can do, starting like a healthy savings account and a wealth fund that just builds interest whenever a child is born. That's something where I can maybe have a talk with some of these Keynesians about things.
Keynesians.
So Ken
There's
is
an N.
Maynard James Keenan. I mean, he he wrote all the songs for Tool, right?
Yeah.
And along with being an economist, like multifaceted individual. But I'm your friendly local Grumple, and I stream on Twitch, Kick, YouTube, Rumble. It's spelled like that on Twitch, like that everywhere else. I'm trying to get into more practical stuff out in the workshop inside the bunker, doing like prepper things. But I do know a lot of these guys. So y'all remember to slap that like button, subscribe to everything, go lurk all your panelists, show the love. And Sarah, I mean, it's past midnight, but happy birthday still, girl.
Thank you.
You have a great night.
You too. Grumpy Dragon Rage, would you like to give your final thoughts?
Sure. So ultimately, what I want to just kind of say is that, as I stated, ultimately, I'm hopeful for the situation with. Sorry, 1 second here. That Doge continues on. I don't like it 100%, but I want to see where it's going. I do agree that the attorney generals and everything, the inspector generals, should be able to review and move on. They were, but it's always nice to have an additional audit into it, just to see if they are state compliant. But I do agree there are certain laws that should be brought into place, like she has stated. Situation, if it's not costing us any money, let them continue on. If it is costing us extra money to have them run, then I would say stop it. But I do that. So, what, Sarah?
Your mic is like, it's like you're talking like this, and then
I'm
sometimes
not
it
moving.
comes back around, and then it comes back around, and then it
Like you were dipping your head underwater.
Sure, it's on top of my head. You know that because times that I'm yeah,
Yeah, it's dropping out.
I'll hear
on
it
me
later.
hard.
So that's it. So have a good one. Happy birthday.
Thanks, Dragon Rage. Appreciate that. Grumpy Dad, Darth Grumpy Dad, your final thoughts.
Well, thanks for having me on. Happy birthday, Sarah. Darth Grumpy Dad on YouTube. I do stupid gaming videos, mostly for my grandkids to watch. So they get on YouTube, they want to watch something. Well, Papa's stream, right? So they'll go watch these stupid gaming videos I done. Not a lot of followers. If you want to check it out, check it out. Darth Grumpy Dad Games on Twitch. If you want to catch me live, which I haven't done in like 2 months, but thanks very much for having me, and good night, all.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And Effigy, the Grumpy Effigy, to you.
Thanks for having me as always. As it concerns to Doge, what I said earlier, it's obviously that they're doing things in a partisan way, attacking partisan causes, and just the way that they're doing mass firings, workforce reduction, lack of transparency, politically motivation, leadership changes, and amplifying partisan claims against things. It's obvious that they're not doing what they say they are. We all agree that waste, fraud, and abuse is bad. It's just we have to agree on the definitions of those things before we fix them. Otherwise, it's just really just more of those things. Happy birthday, Sarah. Very happy to present you with your tomato cake.
It's a
Have a
lovely
great night.
tomato cake. Thank you. And thank you everyone for tuning in. We all know politics are not my favorite topic at all. So typically I just let you guys start talking and I zoom out into my own little world and go off in my own little place. And actually tonight I was very productive. I was able to create the memberships for the Gauntlet. They're slightly different from the Raging Tomato memberships. So you feel free to get your own membership over here if you feel the need to do so. I also created some more upcoming live streams that we have over the next few weeks, all the way up. We are stacked up on Throwdown Thursdays all the way through the end of May. And Rob Noir is going to finish us out at the end of May. Prior to that, on the 22nd, we have Neve Lear. And then on the 15th, we've got the Soy Pill coming back. I don't know if you're talking to your people or what, but we've got the Soy Pill coming back on the 15th. And then, right, did I do the dates right? And then the 8th, we have, I believe, Millennial Mike doing talking about like landlords and that whole concept and how people tend to not like them. And is there socialist issues involved? Is it communistic? I don't know. And then on the 2nd, this upcoming Thursday, we have Kings and Dreams coming on, I believe. So, and that will be relationships. So I have already set, I don't know, go back to the Raging Tomato, hit the live stream, it'll tell you. And then on the 5th, next Monday, I've got Wick TV coming back with what is his name? Is it Prisco's something our Misfit Patriot, and God, I forget the other guy's name already. Anyways, bunch of people coming back to argue and debate some more over Trump. Trump is causing quite issues here, but I have set up the raid. You guys are going back over to Powder Dusty, I believe, and you can go hang out over there. I am tired. I've been sick. I had a bug the last 2 days. It hasn't been fun, so I kind of barely made it tonight. But again, I was very productive while you guys were complaining about Doge and all of that. And I made all of the memberships. I created all of our next upcoming live streams that were added in. So make sure you go hit your notification bells and all that fun stuff. And I think outside of that, thank you for the wonderful happy birthday. Thank you for helping the Raging Tomato hit a full 8K. It's a little unbelievable that we're here, but we are, and I'm excited. And then thank you for helping the Gauntlet grow and get to monetization level. So I'd like to see it continue to grow. This will be the panel version of the Raging Tomato. And we'll see where this goes. Fuck off.